Today, 10 of Rainbow Six Siege's best women players will take to the stage with $7,500 at stake in what will be the first ever Rally Point final here in 2025. My name's Mimi. I'll be your host for today. We're so excited to see some of these amazing players compete in what will be a winner-takes-all best out of three. But before we get into the action, let's hear a little bit more about what to expect today. Welcome to Rally Point Finals 2025. There's a lot that's happened, so here's everything you need to know before we get into the action. There's been 9 weeks of offline matches, so if you think the players aren't warmed up, you might just want to think again. These matches have been taking place since September. There have been 3 game nights a week, with awards of up to $150 each week for the top performers. The formats for these game nights has been solo matchmaking. Players have had their opportunity to prove their individual skills over the course of these game nights. After 9 weeks, the top 10 players qualified for finals. It's simple, right? You pop off for 9 weeks, you qualify to the main event. The top 2 players have earned their rights to become team captains, and they've put together rosters that you wouldn't want to challenge for the title. First up, we have Meowers, led by Mine. They're flexible in their playstyle and looking to sink their claws into the opposition. Next up is the Powerpuff Girls, led by Adriella. They fear nothing, not even copyright infringement. Finals is a best of 3. First of 2 maps wins it all. There's $7,500 at stake with prizing for both first and second place. But something tells me that for these players, second place just isn't an option. They're coming for the crown. It's time to rise and compete. Rally Point Finals starts now. That it does, and joining me today to cover today's match and bring you through this whole best out of 3 is, of course, Fluke and Dianic. Thank you so much for hopping on. I'm so excited for this. We haven't really had an event, anything like this in the past, with just 10 of the best individual players we could possibly find playing today, Fluke.
Oh, no, it's amazing, right? First of all, it's an honor to be here. Us 2 Europeans up late at night here, ready for some amazing NA Siege. But it's an honor to be part of this. It's an honor to see where it's all sort of come from. And I think Diana can agree. Getting to the end of this is just get us into it. Screw the desk. No, we'll do the desk first.
Just a little bit.
Listen, I am absolutely excited because we're not going to watch some boys play today. We're going to watch 10 of the best female players play today.
Yeah, it is so exciting. Let's talk a little bit about how they got here, though, because I mentioned it in the video, but it wasn't necessarily teams qualifying to this point. It was through a circuit where all of these different players were competing week over week, individually accruing points to get to this point, and then drafting up their teams. And taking a look at the leaderboard, I think the first thing that really stands out to me is Mine, one of our team captains today, Fluke. How well she played. She had an insane win rate, played practically every match, and tops the charts at the end of that stage.
Oh, 64 matches played, 49-1. You don't get that win ratio unless you're dang good, and just proved it. She absolutely ran the boards. She absolutely sort of took over. There's quite a big distance between her and not only the total amount of games played with anybody else on our leaderboard, but the total win percentage as well. It's such a sort of level of dominance, and it comes from what is pub games. It comes from building together. It comes from adapting. It comes from having to be able to work with your team and find new ground with your team. And she just proves time and time again that she knows this. And I mean, a well-earned first place.
And Ty, that's the exact skill set you need for an event like this, where it does have to all come down to adaptation. And these are teams that have really just been thrown together kind of on the fly, but with some amazing talent within them.
Absolutely, but the thing is, it was individual plays, and now we have a whole team play. So 5 against 5 players. Yes, you can pop off in an individual play, but can you bring 5 players together and then all of them to work towards that same goal, 7,500? Is the whole prize pool. So one player can do it, but can they do it together is the real question here.
Yeah, it's a $500 difference for each of your individual players if you can win instead of ending the runner-up in this finals. We talked about Mine as an individual, how good she was, but the team she's put together for today, that's Meowers. All of our squads got drafted through a draft process where those top performers got to directly pick who that they were grabbing. So Di, I just want to get your impressions on this team she's built.
So there we have the 5 players of the first team, Meowers, with Randy, Vi, Zero, Tex, and mine. And the one player I kind of want to highlight here is Tex. She's a player, she has been in the competitive scene for so long. Many of you may have seen her play in Project Iris Season 1, then Project Harmony. She's always appeared on the port, she's always been there in that competitive of that female scene, and it's just, she does not stop. And obviously, she's had a big run already here and there, winning, getting so close to victories, lost once on a second place, but obviously came back stronger. So she's done amazing.
She really has. And Fluke, what's cool as well, it is a pug team. Some of these players are actually going to be playing together in person today.
Yeah, I think this is like one of those things where it's like, has the draft made this magic happen? Or is mine just amazing at drafts? Because I think 3 of them are together in a sort of LAN environment, all side by side, all ready to have, and the difference that makes it, I mean, we might be about to get a demonstration of the difference that makes. So it's gonna be a very, very sort of strong core of this team with that instant communication.
Yeah, that's Vi, Rennie, and Zero, who are all playing together today in Philadelphia, rounding out that team. But that's one side of the card. Let's talk a little bit about our other team and our other captain. That's, of course, the Powerpuff Girls that have been put together here, led by Captain Adriella. She was second on the points leaderboard. But when you look at this team, you do see some faces that have been around in the women's scene here in North America, Fluke.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Turla, who I think we're going to get into anyway based on how they got into this, was once upon a time on the roster alongside, Mom and Goddess, and, all the way back in 2021, the sort of undefeated era. A huge history in and amongst the game and in and amongst where they've been able to play. But at the same time, you're sort of, looking at this as a roster where that potential is, as we're kind of finding out pretty continually across the board. You've got Mel, who's like a fantastic support player. They've been able to bring this in. Adri has obviously been sort of leaning that huge entry game, and Nat has the history of running a whole dang league. So it's sort of like they have every single element you want from a decent comp understanding inside and outside the game, how to build teams, how to build energy, and probably how to build a really good performance.
Maybe one more player that I want to get into detail a bit more is Adriella, because she's also one of the players who has a massive history when it comes to competitive play. Again, played in a lot of teams here, so her knowledge is going to be really valuable.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. I want to narrow in on some of those players you already mentioned. One of them was Turler, Dai, who she just individually brings such an extensive background, but is also someone who qualified in such a different way than mine. Only played 4 games in the last week, won them all to then make it here.
Listen, last second she comes in, and last second she might steal the shine. That's all I'm saying. I mean, yes, we have mine at the very top with Teller at the bottom, but I mean, 4 games in a row, won all 4 of them. Why not just sneaked right in at the very end?
I mean,
yeah, it's so wild.
Yeah, like what else can you say, right? If there's an element of it where I can talk about it before, where mine is obviously 64 played. Charlotte's like, 4 in the last play day? Yeah, that's fine. Job done. Oh, I'm in 100% win rate? Yeah, fine. They're coming in as technically an undisputed, undefeated champion as a 10th seed. And, we've talked about their history. There's an unknown element of like, oh, this is like a ringer. This is a star player that we've just had jettisoned in.
Yeah, just came out of nowhere and won those last 4 games, made it into this main event, and now a real chance to compete against someone who played against literally everything. Let's pull broadly a little bit here, because this is an event where a lot of these players have experience, where they have played in the women's scene before, where they've competed in Siege. Some of them more so just pug stars who play a lot of ranked or just grinding the leaderboard. But when you're looking to build a team like this, very last second, what kind of players are we looking at to actually put something together in that pug environment, Fluke?
I think the main thing is confidence. I think that's always sort of the main takeaway is, you can look at the stats, you can look at how they performed in these situations, but coming to an environment like this, where it's going to be broadcast, there's a proper prize pool on the line, that is the moment where you sort of have that tipping point of you need somebody who, you could be the best entry in the world in your sort of ranked games or in your sort of pub games, but then it gets to the situation where it's like, oh, if I mess this round up, we might not win this money, we might not do that. Getting that level of conversation and getting yourself all on the same page, for me, that is the most vital thing, because everyone in this server can shoot, everyone in the server can play, but can they do it on the day is the eternal question of this line.
And I think having one IGL coming in to bring that whole team together, right? So we know the IGLs from both the teams, we've spoken about them a little bit, but it just comes down, have they done it before? Can they do it in a moment of chaos when there's so much going on? Just imagine this last 30 seconds. Can they get a hold of the whole team to just make it work? Again, individually they can play quite a lot, but together as a team they need to be unified.
Well, we're getting ready for our map select, and Di, I want to turn back to you and ask, in this kind of environment, is there any particular maps you think the teams will want to stay away for that are a little bit easier to play in more of a pug environment here?
To be fair, I would rather say that the teams should aim more for an easier map, like a Clubhouse, or on the other side, like a Border. Like teams like Border is very frag heavy, Clubhouse is a checklist map. You know exactly what to do, and I think especially in this environment, you should go for these maps. If you want to be a little bit surprised, then you could go for a layer and sneak something in. But I mean, everybody knows I love it. I'm not quite the biggest fan of Lair, but I will put it in and say that it is a good competitive map. I just don't find it appealing.
Sure. Well, let's get those answers on where the teams are going to go. Fluke, this is the map, pick, and ban. And looking at where we're headed, this is, of course, just a best of 3, one match that decides all of our prizing. And the first one that we'll be heading to is Skyscraper, the choice of Meowers.
Ooh, okay. I'm kind of confused about the Skyscraper pick, not gonna lie. The Labs and the Border make total sense to me, but Sky's confusing because it's defender-sided, and it's kind of a bit heavily defender-sided, and you're talking about narrow margins, fine, but when you're in this situation where, as I said before, the pressure is on the attack, the pressure is on the team that has to open that up, for it to sort of be the one that you go to, you're making the pick. Your opponents will get the choice of, okay, well, I want to start on my defense. They could theoretically and comfortably start with a 5-1 defensive lead. It's the same reason you wouldn't jump immediately into, say, Cafe, because you've got a lot of work to do as attackers. Even more so if you're a pub team and you have to sort of come up with strats, you have to come up with takes, you have to have some sort of framework there, and you know, it's a risky first go-to. Labs has everything I think Dianic talked about with Club, except the one thing is hard breach is so good right now. I don't want anyone to go to Club because the defenders will just lose. They're in a really good place. They've had a lot of buffs. Labs will give you some of the Club feel, but without that. And then Border, that's just a brawl.
It is. Let's narrow in on Skyscraper a little bit. That's where we'll start. Di, with this attack-sided start for the Meowers, is there anything you'd be looking at them to try and prioritize in the ban phase to give them any leg up starting on that less favored half?
I would love to see them ban a mirror out to get operators out, which they know they're gonna have difficulties with, especially because it is very defender-sided. Banning out a mirror operators who just put in so much annoyance also within the game. Let it be a Fenrir, a Mirror, a Castle, an Aruni Gates, or Denari. Like, all of these operators create just so much stuff to deal with. Already, for so little rooms they have to tunnel through, essentially, on the very top floor. And that's where most of the bomb sets are being played, right? We have Tea Karaoke, we have Office, and then we have Kitchen and Barbecue, and Kitchen and Barbecue is just played with tea and karaoke. So we have small rooms, small tunnels that we can go through, single individual doors. So we need to get those breaches open, create other entry points, and we can do that, for example, on the attack by utilizing a Monty, a Blackbeard, and a Blitz. I would love to see them use that operator, or even like a Ying, a Lion, like something that can just be an in-your-face for the attackers, because they can set up as they want. But the attack, they need to fight back here a little bit for that control.
Rennie and Vi did play incredibly well through the kind of week by week phases of qualification to get here. They're looking to be the entry duo for this team going into Skyscraper. To me, Fluke, feels like those two have to be having a really good game and be on point early to prove this Skyscraper choice and how they can succeed on this attack side.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, you know, they have in some ways often described as the toughest role. Your entry player is the one that has to make an impact quickly as well. And you're looking at Skyscraper, you're looking at, as it was sort of put just before, it will take a while to potentially get yourself into position. You have to do a lot of spot checking before you say want to breach in from the balcony, or get the confidence to go for it, or sort of get yourself situated. That is all time that ticks away. And it's also the main idea of, if you're trying to find a place on the other side, well, it's a big map. If you're trying to get yourself in at the bottom of main stairs and the push is on towards, say, Samurai and that side, it takes a while to either pick yourself up and go around main or black stairs, or get yourself over towards terrace, or get yourself, even worse, out of the building and background. If you're not a precise tip of the spear, then you're just a wooden pole.
Yeah, that you are. Let's pull wide for a second. We do have a brief delay of getting into game and talk about the rest of this map pool as we get deeper in looking at Labs' map 2. And if we do get to a map 3, are there any other keys that you're looking towards, Diana, as we get there?
Well, Labs is just exactly that what Fluke said earlier. It's like a clubhouse just without this fact of just so many breaches. You have a lot more room you can play around, so even if the breaches are open, there's still somewhat of safety net. So Labs will most likely be played in a very strategic, very checklist map. You need this, you need to do that, but it could definitely end up differently.
I think one of the things I really like about Lab is it could be a really nice place for somebody who wants to play a little bit solo. You have a lot of space you can move into. If you try and do that on Skyscraper, you can do, but you can get yourself really far away. You have really good rotation synergy. You have really good positions. If you try and do it on Border, it's very aggressive. You can get yourself pinned out pretty much immediately. It gives that really nice little thing of, I can be a problem, I can flank, I can come back, I can roam, I can hide, I can do whatever I like.
Exactly, and what I really like about Border, on the other hand, you can't really play as much as alone as you would like to, but you need support, but you still need to play alone, so that's also a tricky thing.
Yeah, and the thing that brought all these players here was strong individual performances, right? It was the players who could win the most matches throughout the week-by-week play. You have the absolute highest points at the end of that, you become a captain. You're in the top 10, you can get drafted for a team. But now today, it's going to look for a very different skill set, I think, of trying to get more into team play, be more coordinated throughout an entire best out of 3. How do you guys think that you balance that individual skill that all of these players obviously have, and that risk, versus trying to play more coordinated when you don't particularly have a lot of time to actually have prepped for this event, Fluke?
It's kind of hard, because I think you sort of put it perfectly. You just don't really have the time to prep, right? You're not going to be building this roster and being like, okay, I can book 20 scrims right now. I can get myself into all of this. Because unfortunately, A, there's not the huge amount of depth as we're sort of developing the scene right now. But B, with a lot of the other competitions and tournaments on right now, a lot of other people are active, and unfortunately a lot of other teams are piecing themselves together. So you have to play by defaults. And you can make pocket plays work, but it's going to be, I think, as Dianic put it before, it's going to be operator-specific pocket plays. You can go, right, I can try and make a clash happen at this. This was a problem. I can try and, I don't know, maybe just get an Ossa slow and steady up inside. You can't go, let's go to plan C. Let's do the quick rush thing. Even if you said, let's do the quick rush thing, what do you bring? Do you bring the Ying? Do you go in with the blinds? Do you instead go for the glass entry with the smokes? It's so tricky, and the IGL voices, they're going to have to be clearer than anything, and almost coaches.
Exactly, but the one thing about basic strats is the one thing that we love also about them, not only in tier 2 and in other competitions, because they're basic, you can adapt them really well. So the IGL, but also like short color or the like secondary IGL, they're gonna have a very important job in this whole matchup in this best of 3. When they notice, okay, this basic strat, there was a lack, there was a gap on this side, let's fix this. How can we fix this? It's also a big point of communication. How well can the individual player communicate with each other to make this one work?
Yeah, well, it's going to be so important to hear from those IGLs and what they can bring on the fly today. While we wait for the game to get fully sorted, let's get a little bit more context on one of those players, the captain of Meowers, Mine.
My name is Mine. I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege for a few years, I think since 2019, and I started in like the last week of Burnt Horizon. Rainbow Six just really stuck because it's just like, it's not like other games. Like, I don't know, the mechanics and like everything in it is so unique. Once I started playing it, it was like I couldn't go back to just like battle royales or like anything like that. It just, they felt like not as serious. Like, they just didn't feel as fun. As a player, I mean, I mostly find myself on, like, entry or flex. I try to, like, adapt to, like, how my team is playing. So, like, if someone feels like they really need to swap up, I try to fill that role. But usually I find myself on entry or flex. I say, like, my favorite operators would be, like, on defense, I'm a really big Vigil enjoyer. I love Vigil. Outside of the game, I am a college student. I go to school for fine arts, so that takes up a lot of my time. I'm an oil painter. I do oil painting, I do charcoal. I'm a realistic painter. Yeah, so I've been doing that for 3.5 years. I've been in school for it. I work outside of this, I mean, but this is always what I come to when I have free time. It's always like, let me sit down and play some ranked and go insane. You know, you check the leaderboard, I'm first place with a gap of 100 points. Like, I definitely put a lot of time into this, and I wanted to be a team captain. That's 100%. I put a lot of time into it. I wanted to be able to pick my team. I want a team of people who are going to, like, listen and adapt versus, like, are confident in one operator. My expectation is that I've already qualified for top 10. I've made $500. But I don't want just 500. I want the 1,000. I want the 1,000 for everyone in my team each, you know? Like, I didn't play this tournament expecting to qualify and then be, like, happy with that and just be like, you know, I'm done. No, I you know, I'm playing because I want to win. And I don't just want myself to win, I want my team to win. Like, everyone is here because they want that money and they want to play. I mean, that's just how it goes. Like, there's not a lot. I don't think there's ever been a women's tournament that's formatted like this, where it's kind of like qualifiers to the actual big game day itself. Yeah, I mean, I just hope people enjoy watching and just want to watch more women's tournaments. Oh, they're fun. They're a good way to get into Siege if you're not already. Yeah, and then I'll see you guys next time.
That was the captain, mine, of Team Meowers, who will be playing today. She, of course, topped the charts throughout the weekly play stage to qualify to this point. And beyond that, guys, is a player with so much experience. She's been playing in the women's scene for quite some time, even signed to the Wildcards Queens roster. I feel like that you couldn't ask for too much better of a captain to be leading the squad.
Exactly. I mean, she's the captain, and also she said it. She's going to be the IGL of this whole best of three. Lastly seen played for the Wildcard Queens in the Project Harmony Cup. There was another, like, only female cup for Europe and NA. There was a lot going on there. I mean, imagine you have the best female players from Europe, best female players from NA. What a better mix in that cup, and there was a lot of action as well. And she already showed off quite some talent in those games. I mean, they came really far. They ended up all the way in the grand finale.
Talk to me about the pressure, Fluke, that it is being a player like that who's taking on the mantle of captain in a tournament like this where you don't have practice time, you don't have a coach, you don't have a lot of strats built up. Because normally teams have a lot that they can fall back on being pre-planned. Not really a luxury she'll have today.
Oh, no, not at all. I think a lot of it as well is there's almost the double-edged sword of it, right? You hear the points of being like, I've put all this work in, I want to do all of this, I cleared it by this much, I want to make sure that every single player on my team wins that money. I want to be the person that goes, oh yeah, we get to walk away with this. If the first map goes away from you, you've then got to be the one that goes, okay, I need to make sure that this doesn't fall away. And that putting the pressure on yourself, it's great to have, because if you go in and you're thinking you're going to lose, you've already lost in the sort of competitive spirit. But putting that idea of, okay, I have to be the one that waves the flag around and says, we've got this. How do you do it when the flag is slightly bloodied? That's going to be the true test for them today.
Yeah, what players do you see stepping up on the side of Powerpuff Girls to fill that kind of role, Dianic?
From the side of Powerpuff Girls, I mean, I think it just comes again down to those individuals, right? Like, we have all these players all together thrown into a mix. I think they can step up individually as players one by one when it comes to it, but I'm a little bit afraid here of the consistency of each player. Yes, they may be playing ranked, yes, but they may have been here for a very long time when it comes to the competitive scene. The issue is just, can they bring it on today? Have they actually ever been as challenged as today, where this whole issue for me has been created? How consistent can they be when all of a sudden it's not just a prize pool of 1,000 or $100, it's 7,500, and that's like a huge pressure. On top of that, them being also broadcasted on the Bravo, which is like huge. Like, can they withstand that pressure, and how will that affect their consistency throughout the game? That's where my worry lies in all these great performances.
I think there's also the pressure of who they're up against, right? And you know, we've got the videos, we've got the idea of what they're capable of in their opponents and what the Meowers can do. And we've talked about what they've competed in. The Powerpuff Girls, which is still so fun to say, they have their first places in, you know, Mel's in Project Harmony. You've got a couple of the Rally Cups. In fact, I think across them they've got 4 Rally Cup wins between the sort of split of things. But otherwise, you're up against people who have this team, are on LAN. Do you feel like that's going to be a tougher sort of mantle to go across? Are they in effect the underdog?
Yeah, it does feel that way in some ways when you listen to Mind speak, really talking about stepping up, trying to be a leader for this team. You look at the other side, and Adriella, who is also a team captain, a lot more of her discussion has been around just how good she is individually. She'll be playing entry for the team. So you look to some of the players she had to draft around her to kind of fill out that team. Maybe Natalie is one of those ideas. I know has a lot of experience in Siege, even like running stuff behind the scenes in the past as well. But to give you guys a little bit of an update, we are delayed, waiting for the lobby to get fully sorted. Should just be another minute or two before we get into things. And while we wait, can take a look back again at this Powerpuff Girls roster, and also I think can take a chance to revisit and discuss these maps a little bit, because we have talked quite a bit about what to expect on map 1 of Skyscraper, which is what Meowers has picked, and where we'll head for labs as well. I want to discuss Border a little bit, Diana, if we get there as the decider of a BO3. Is there anything you're looking at that point in the series?
I mean, I love Border personally because I feel like it's a very fun map to play with, considering, for me, I would like to picture the painting of this map as a capture the flag, right? So you need to first take either CCTV or E-stairs. Without these 2 points, you cannot achieve anything on this whole map. And those 2 points are usually held by one singular individual player, so you're gonna have to use your whole team to get those spots.
I think it's so quick to the punch. You're going from a very, very slow map in Skyscraper to what is a sort of middle ground map in Labs, but it's going to be faster because the hardware changes, to Border, which is, oh, I'm inside the building. It's been 30 seconds. Oh, I'm pushing up the sort of metal stairs. And that is where I think you're going to have Adriella shine, because if they're the IGL and they are the entry, they'll be the first one to be able to read the holes in the defense. They'll be able to go, everybody on me. It's 20 seconds. I have control of this. We can just throw ourselves into this. And that could be a moment, if we get to that third map, where Powerpuff Girls will be able to really just grab momentum.
On top of that, we all know Border. This map is known for its rushes, and I hope we do see one today.
Yeah, if we do get to that point, it seems like it will definitely kick up the pace. Looking at some of the changes you're talking about to the game, as well as to the context of these being pug teams, do you think that it is generally making it more difficult to attack in this kind of environment? Would you expect the defensive teams to find more success today, or is it still very map dependent as you might expect in Tier 2 or Tier 1?
I think that defenders have had a rough deal with this patch. I mean, I think that they've had a nice spot, and I think, to be fair, it won't be the biggest impact on Border, because you're not really looking at Hard Breach being the biggest game there. Skyscraper as well, there's a couple of important walls, but you don't have a lot of bandit tricking, you don't have a lot of like Kaid tricking, you don't have a lot of specifics, and even then, if you're thinking of maybe like the sort of house wall at the top of VIP, or if you're looking at these sort of positions that can be power positions, it will take a split second for Thatcher with his new fancy rocket launcher thing to get himself through. The fact that you can now have bringing your own frag grenades as Maverick, being able to bring the secondary shotgun as Thermite as well to just do hards and softs, which was the problem with Buck for a while. It's just good luck, defenders, is all I want to say. I haven't cast a new patch, but good luck, defenders.
It's definitely gonna be a good luck defenders, because there's one patch you kind of not noticed or not said, which I believe is one of the biggest ones. Considering Skyscraper, we all know, so Geisha needs to be opened, everything needs to be open. Who better to pick than an Ace who has a ton of charges, needs to do it? Well, usually needed 2 people, because there was a Mute Jammer or a Kaid. Well, now Mute Jammers don't affect Ace charges anymore, so it's like... It's
good luck defenders.
It's a bit ballistic. It's good luck defenders. It's generally good luck defenders.
How much do you think then teams should be targeting their bans at this issue? I know Ace already got banned a ton before the changes. Now with the mute changes, even stronger in some ways. Do you think you want to see teams putting a lot of resources into stopping that hard breach in their ban phases?
I don't think so, because of the fact that we have the malleable ban after the 3 rounds. You have to send yourself in, or you're going to be sort of just hoping that they don't do it.
Yeah, well, we've waited a long time, and thankfully, we are now ready to get into game. Our teams are ready. A best out of 3, $7,500 on the line. Map number 1 about to get underway. Fluke, Dianic, I'll leave it to you as we get into Skyscraper.
Thank you very much, Mimi. And yeah, we get to finally throw ourselves in. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us as well. Are you ready, Dianic?
Oh, I'm so ready to see all the changes and how they're gonna affect Skyscraper. Again, the one thing I'm mostly looking for is that Ace change, because, I mean, let's be honest, not only does he have one of the best guns on the attack, a really good gadget, but now Mute does not affect him anymore. Like, come on, that is literally unfair.
Okay, let's just slow things out. Calm it down for a second. Ace was the only... I'm not going to say the only viable hard breacher. Ace was far and away the strongest hard breacher for a while. I think. I think the class can agree. I think everybody is aware of that. They needed to do something. I do like that instead of entirely nerfing Ace, they went, okay, how do we make the others a bit more competitive? How do we make the others a bit more viable? Because hard breaching and the pace of it, I think it's fair to say that that's a big drive of the speed of our game, and it's an integral part of it. Is it too far for everybody? We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn on this patch.
You don't learn how it affects the whole game. I mean, Batman has 3 charges now, which obviously makes him a lot more viable as well. Like, not only 2, so it's only a 50-50 if there's a bandit trick going on, considering, for example, like VIP wall, it's crazy how many times it's going to be a bandit sitting on a KE tricking, and all of a sudden, your whole thermite charge is gone, but you have 1 extra pocket now. And I think all of these hard breach changes are definitely going to have a big effect, but also, as you said, like, Thatcher with his launcher all of a sudden is going to make a big impact at this. I do think Skyscraper may have a little bit of a shift here. Maybe it's not going to be as defender-sided, but it also comes down, can 5 players who've potentially never played in this roster itself together in a competitive matchup in this scenario make use of that? Or is it just going to be maybe like fumbling a little bit under pressure here?
So, without any further ado, let us throw ourselves into our very first ban phase. Now, I sort of started to make a little bit of a light point, but then we got into the game. I don't think you can sort of just entirely ban out hard breach, because you have to full send it, right? You have to ban out 3, and they're all so good, you can't really control that pace of game. It's not like Bank, where you're looking at maybe locking the ranged one so they can't get Kanto or those sort of positions. But here, I think you need to look at maybe more target bans. Ace is gone. Prove me wrong, but we'll see if they double down. Fenrir, always. I love a Fenrir ban.
Oh boy. Ace.
Your boy?
Listen, I've just talked about how great he could be on this.
Yeah, he's gone.
and he said, oh no, they shouldn't ban it because, you know, you want to keep it maybe open for that 3rd ban. No, they're not taking any risks nor any chances. Another operator I've matched, which would be great on the attack on this map, is Blackbeard. Well, he's gone as well. So I feel like the attack, they've taken a little bit of a hit, but I mean, there's still like a Thermite open, there's still like a Hibana, a Monty open, and we're gonna see Monty be utilized directly, potentially maybe swapped away, because there is this whole changing of attackers still active. But 2 operators, which I said are really, really strong in this map are gone. Well, what a surprise, Dianic, you know.
What?
Could have told it myself, you know, at this point.
You know your stuff. So, with the removal of Ace, obviously, it's sort of the limitation, but it's almost the part and parcel. They've got rid of Blackbeard. It's one of X amount of shields, and I guess that's the conversation of, like, how much do you remove, but also in the question of things, what have they left open? There was also some changes towards Aruni, how her laser gates handle, but it's, you know, more of a great gun in the right hands, the driver they can sort of have behind them. But it's a limitation of open space. You're not having the Fenrir, you're limiting what they can swing onto, you're limiting what they can sort of put pressure on towards the doors, and then the operators that they are left with, well, we've got to have Legion, so we have an awareness, we've got the Wamai to be a little bit mobile as well, which I quite like. And then, otherwise, it feels almost... Would you describe this as a safe attacker roster?
Absolutely. I mean, you have a little bit of everything. You have your secondary hardbridge gadgets, you have the can openers, and I mean, there's not much to breach on this side. You need to do open geisha, and if you want to go for the main breach, but a lot of the times those two breaches are just being ignored because the push is happening from, for example, on Black. As you see it right now, already found ourselves on the top side of Black, and a really good pace. 2 minutes 10 still on the clock, and they've already gotten this control. And let's be honest, this is the one key thing where a lot of tier 1 players already lose their lives, and they've just gotten it because nobody was contesting it.
I think this is it, right? That, you know, you think of what they have. They don't have the stuff to stop the immediate swing in. No Malusi. So instead, you're kind of looking at the Smoke and Legion and going, okay, come on, try and do something. The first fight almost takes the head off of Vi on the Ash, but they can't quite get it together. They're trying to work around the shield of Rennie, just put the pressure in, but as they lose out, Monty that's kind of isolated, having to drop the shield, go for a swing. There's a big rotate coming around behind on the far side. You can see all the way up the stairs itself, but that's exactly what I talked about. When things start to go wrong on Skyscraper, the journey to make them right can be massive. And now, as they get on the defense with one extra player to play with, you can see there the Monty in the bottom left is suffering with both the goo mine and a bit of damage from a smoke canister. More and more pressure. I'm assuming the Monty's about to go down to a smoke. Yes, it is. Yes, they go. And now with that trade out, a 4 versus 2. We push this one over the edge. There's a rotate of a bandit. There is a strong Powerpuff hold.
They had it pretty quickly, but what can he do when there's not really much to follow up on it, right? They had the top legs, yes, but they didn't have the utility to deal with because we just saw it there. We had a glimpse of vision why they couldn't quite deal with their position with Golden. If just reinforced it off, they completely reinforced off Karaoke, meaning they would need to bring in a hard breacher to open that wall for the Monty to walk in, yada yada yada. But they didn't have the utility, right? They had one operator with 2 can openers, and he was on complete the other side, so he had to run miles, a whole marathon just to get there, and eventually team collapsed. And I think that's one thing that Meowers maybe can pick up on it. They had now a safe round, you know, they figured a little bit out, okay, they're gonna play this round that way. Hard breacher was a big issue for us, and now they're gonna go exhibition and office. They're gonna need hard breachers, and what I love here already is they knew hard breachers was a big mistake. They didn't bring enough. Now they're bringing 2 and the fetch on top of that. They want to adapt as quick as possible. And on this side, let's be honest here for a second, so many walls to breach, and a lot of them are so important to get. Bar, VIP, and main breach. Too many for one hard breacher to handle.
This is what I will say is almost a counterpick or response to, right? So we had the Monty, it was the drive-through as the first. What would you pick to counter a Monty? What's your first go-to?
I'm changing mags!
A Legion or a Smoke.
Well, you've got one of those back, and then you've also now got the Ella, and oh, that was the other thing I said. They don't have a Malusi to stop the scream in. Now they have a Malusi. It's an immediate response to, this is what they played, this is what we've got to do. And it almost puts a bit of pressure on Meowers of, if they learn that this is how Powerpuff Girls are building their defenses, they have to keep themselves adapting. They have already. They've obviously, as you said, thrown themselves in on the game that they knew they were missing. I talked about the importance of this single wall, and they're going to have to probably play against the bandit to see if they're allowed to keep it. But the fact that actually this is opened with a bit of damage on towards Trippy Mel's means that they're almost trippied up before the round could even begin to cook.
That beautiful new Thatcher gadget. It's gonna get rid of some bandit charges. There we go. Another one gone, done and dusted. Thermite is gonna open up the first big important wall, and that is the main breach. Cannot be bandit tricked anymore. The bandit was nowhere near, and also a very unsafe position to bandit trick. We all know it from down below. There could be an Ash, there could be a Sophia. I mean, she wasn't picked now, but that's obviously a big risk that needs to be taken into account. So one breach is done, and on top of that, a cheeky little kill. Cavi, a person who could maybe potentially be a big threat to Monty, is gone, but we have the trade immediately there as well.
Yeah, it was a great retake of space. They knew they had to get the body count leveled, and now you're looking at them just staring out of an open breach. But this breach is step 1. Step 2, as I said, is to try and find the pressure. And you can either put it laterally, build your way across from the Geisha side, and T, enjoy a nice cut, which seems to be the route. But you can also see a bit of a rotate coming around underneath. They want to try and pinch this middle. It's a big connector across Shrine all the way towards the side of Terrace, but they can't get past either of the door. And then you look at their gadgetry and you think, well, they don't really have anything to throw themselves in massively here, right? They don't have anybody that could potentially, you know, Candela their way through, other than the smokes, and push behind it safely, because you're just going to meet this. There is something that's going to keep popping up for them as a bit of danger today. You can say what you like about Ella's gadget, but that gun is still one of the best in the game, and so are the little dip feeds of that. They do get one back, but 2 versus 3, 30 seconds. I mean, how do you think this is going to play out?
Oh, I think, let's be honest here, we all know how this may be ending, but I do see a little bit of hope. There's not too big of a man advantage. One person, and it's already gone, right? 20 seconds. One person on low HP. All they're gonna do is find these kills. They find a team kill on top of that. Trippy not finding themselves in a 1v2. Is gonna find herself the first. All they need is the second in 9 seconds. Both these players know where they are, but Trippy will be the one getting the better swing and getting the kill. And with that, the round secured for the defense yet again.
Okay. Yeah, they put themselves in a 1 versus 2 and then won it out. It's a tactic. I wouldn't recommend it as a sort of continued tactic. But they won it, so they get themselves in. This is what I was talking about, why I'm surprised Skyscraper's here. Because it gives the defenders a lot to work with. It gives you a lot of space. It's maybe a final hurrah before this map disappears from the comp pool, which I don't mind. That's nice. It's a nice goodbye. But you could be looking at, as I said at the sort of start of this, of suffering a 1-5 half on your own side, and then going, yeah, because we'll just do that on the other side, right? It's a big bit of pressure to put on yourself.
But we also know Skyscraper. As you said, it's very defender-sided, so it's not unusual to see a 1-5 and all of a sudden the whole other team just come back with it. And it seems like it is not a lot of effort because it is very defender-sided. So I am a little bit happy to see Skyscraper lead the competitive pool for now. I do believe that there is maybe a rework needed here just to even out a few more things. But also play that I want to kind of highlight here. Scots at War with an insane shot last round, but also she once had a clutch moment in one of the Relic Cup moments, and she did post it, and it was like a round-winning clutch, so it's not surprising to see her here also stepping up the kills 1 by 1. Definitely play I think we should keep an eye on.
Well, keep an eye on off to the races and keep an eye on the site itself. Turla, probably the most important kill of this round. Stopped the blitz, put the pressure on towards the quick entrance. We talked about this is going to be something that can be reactive and explosive, and here, what do you do now? You've lost that front, and now you're still just trying to get the catch. There's a grenade that gets the drop on towards the other team captain. Oh no, but now they're in that perfect position to IGL, or try to from the cams itself. The sense rolls its way out. There's no moving through that, and Turla's just not going to opt for it. Pulls themselves back, gets herself out of dodge, and, well, can cause some trouble back and forth. Actually tries to push back into the space. Let them waste utility. Let them think you're gone. You can see she's actively droning outside, trying to just get the pinch from where she might have got to, but look at the positions that they've taken up. They've peeled themselves further away. In the meantime, Zero's entered above, taken a lot of damage inside Karaoke, I believe. Turla's off to a second. There's at least a drop on Scout as the team captain is doing everything in her power to keep the team going, but the team just keeps falling around her. How do you keep driving? The Doc gets herself back up to full health, and now the 3 versus 2 with vertical control. But Dianic, what has it cost?
It costs quite a lot of lives from the side of Meowers. The issue that I see here, we already had a 2v3 scenario and we ended up in a 1v2. So the one thing that I want here from Powerpuff Girls, please do not shoot your own teammate in the head. It could cost you the whole round, but we also have a medic on our side, right? Trippy healed up her teammates to make sure everybody is ready for the fight. 50 seconds left in this round. We've gotten the top floor under our control from the side of Meowers, so we can maybe look around a little bit, maybe get a few more informations. We do have one more drone in pocket from the side of Meowers, which could be using to just gather a few more positions before actually going in for the drop.
I mean, it's a smart play here. They've peeled themselves away on the defense, and you can see that the attackers just can't work out a route in. They have to separate. They have to try and isolate one of these engagements and put pressure from two different sides. But how do you trade a map that is just boxes? They've got the open angles. There, unfortunately, has suffered another. Trippy Mel's gets the last, and that is a 3-site lockout here for the defenders on not their map.
What I just really was missing in that round from Meowers is that action after the blitz pushed in. I get it, she died really, really quickly, and you should not push upon it, but there was like nothing. There was no setup, no flashbangs, no sense get. And that one sense get that was thrown wasn't quite helping the blitz. So it's like, it did not feel like every single player was on page 7 to know exactly, hey, we're gonna do a quick thing here, let's be all together, let's push from multiple sides. One of them could have gone into laundry, right? Maybe push from the double door into towards barbecue. The other person could have went topside on Geisha just to defend that verticality and then apply a little bit of pressure with flashbangs, right? There's multiple ways, and that's the one thing, and maybe something that we've spoken about throughout the whole prep for the game. Can the IGL bring the team together, especially on a map like Skyscraper? Attack is really, really difficult, and right now I need a little bit more here from the IGL. Also, why is the secondary IGL on Meowers? So when main isn't there or is currently active doing something else, Vi is the one to step in, and I need both of them to just lock in a little bit more, because the last 3 rounds, they were already tough, and all 3 is a tough score right now.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, I think that's the main drive, right? Because you have to sort of look at where things are sort of going wrong for them and where things are going right for them. And their confidence at having a plan and trying and act on it is great so far. We saw it in the first round, straight in towards the top of the black stairs. We saw them in that round, straight in and go for the plant. But then there's almost that little moment that we talked about of what happens if that goes wrong. You have to have the confidence to keep pushing it, and that might build as the series goes on, because they can know what they're capable of. And they're having these very sharp ideas, just can't quite get the landing. At the same time, Powerpuff Girls, the defense has been very malleable. They're more than happy to get in confrontations. The Monty! Oh no! They had a goo mine for a second. They've gone down. I'm not entirely sure where the Monty is struggling for this engagement. I assume the top of the stairs. The pings come out. There goes the drop on towards the team captain as well. On the far side, it's a battle, and this is the stretched hold. Actually, you can see it on the far side of our screen. And now Taylor's going to go over and offer a little bit of support here. With that player down, they went for the flat take. They didn't rush in on towards the stairs themselves. They tried to build their way across. Scout pops off, gets a double. And that now leaves a 4 versus 2. And, well, with Tex getting it a bit closer, there's still a lot of possibility here for the final duo. It's just, worryingly, not a lot of gadgetry.
Not a lot, and also the gadgets are not quite complementing each other, right? We have a Thatcher and we have a Sledge. Okay, soft breach, great, but Thatcher in this scenario, okay, maybe you could deactivate Warden's goggles, but we don't even have flashbangs to push with that, right? So the gadgets are not quite helping each other, so the guns are going to be a big factor here. We're already on a 2v3. We've been here already quite a few times, but Adriana is going to have a very important position here now. It does seem like that the information is not quite there, but you know, can feel each other. Oh my god, swings around the corner, gets herself the first kill. Everybody now knows where the last person is, and as we can see, Powerpuff Girls, they're trying to stay here a little bit disciplined, but also play together as they swing, and Trippy gets the finishing kill in this round. From beginning on, this whole round just was falling apart. We lost our Monty, was injured for quite a long time in this play, by the way. So on the other side of the map, and then kept chipping away, player after player, and Meowers, they weren't able to quite bring that back, and it is just the sake of attack on skyscrapers. It's really nothing more. It's like this map is like defender heaven, and to see the defense win, nothing surprising. But let's be honest, Powerpuff Girls, they're playing very individually, if we're being honest. So they're playing alone, not always together, getting these kills, running away, getting another kill. While Meowers, they try to play together, but it's not quite clicking yet.
I think as well, you know, as I said, the same thing I said at the start of that round. I like the ideas that we're getting the attackers come up with. The fact that they realized this take hasn't worked. Let's go laterally. Let's go across the top floor, which is a very solid take. The Monty got called out. Again, you start to get into that panic mode and you start to build things up. And as you pointed out there is this element of solo YOLO from some of these defenders. They're sending themselves, unfortunately for their opponents. They have a lot of players that are really good at that, right? You've got multiple of them now, at least 5 kills. I think Tala, it was a 4K in a single round. I think, you know, Triple Mouse has just been sort of building these little 2Ks, and Scouts, I think it was a 3K that round as well. They're having these big moments because, oh, why don't I just send myself in? Why don't I just throw myself into this engagement? And is it going to work on other maps as well? Probably not. When we get to our second map, and especially our third map, where everybody is in every single firefight at all times on border. No, but here, Powerpuff Girls are really playing Skyscraper well.
Absolutely. And one thing that I would love to see from Meowers is, as you said, they have great ideas, but I feel like they're trying a lot. They're trying too much. They've played 4 rounds now. They know kind of what works, what doesn't. I would have loved to see them on that karaoke and tea room, for example. Okay, they knew on Black Stairs the issue was they didn't have a heart breacher. Why not take the strats that have already been tried and adapt on them, make them better, you know, change a few things up? And right now they're doing exactly this, right? They're opening up the breach. They're starting as they did when they were attacking Opposite Exhibition, and they need to build upon this rather than completely change it. And this is what I like right now.
Okay, what I like is the first 2 operators that we've got between Tex and Rennie. What has been a problem? The motion, the movement. How do you shut that down? You bring Dockerby, you bring Lion, you bring Deimos, and you bring trouble for those players. And that's entirely what they've sort of got themselves into. They've got that wall open quickly. Now they're trying to isolate themselves. They're a lot more together, but they're taking it bit by bit. They're compartmentalizing the approach here. You can see the rotates going out a bit wider. You know, you can see that they're now trying to peel themselves in. That Legion is about to be under a lot of pressure. Adriella is sitting around underneath, was making sure there wasn't a rush plant in, and this is the change now you get from Powerpuff Girls. As I said, they've been great at reactivity. Look how far away from the site they all are. And they're able to win that first engagement. The player that we just saw on a bit of a runabout gets that first take from the side itself. There's a C4 on towards 0, and again, to talk about how good they are on this defense, Dianic, the reactivity from them has been so well put together.
Exactly. And the second they get a kill, they walk away. The second another one happens, you see them just always move around. They're never in the same place after they've done the first kill. They're always somewhere else. And right now, also Meowers seem like they're having some struggles with that. Of course, the Deimos is going to have the track now. They're going to have and use this opportunity to themselves to take the space again, which they've originally lost. Gotten themselves another kill, which is great and fantastic, meaning 55 seconds left, a 3v3. We have still the players that we need. We have a Lion, we have a Grim, and we have a Deimos. The best 3 scenarios, the best 3 operators for the last 45 seconds in this whole run are still alive, and all they gotta do is eliminate 3, and they have their first victory of hopefully more.
Oh, you couldn't ask for better instigators. You could not ask for better people to go in. And at this point, Powerpuff Girls are going to do that game that they've been doing, where they'll hold these angles, and they'll do this. They'll be a bit aggressive. They'll be a bit confrontational. And at this point, it's down to Meowers to try and isolate one and isolate the push. But I worry here that the pressure of that clock is starting to tick on. You've still got one outside Terrace window. The C4 won't quite make it, but that gives them an opportunity to get in. The pressure on Shrine, you assume, is where the other 2 players are, but as Turla locks down that side, there's Vi making sure they can pop up on the back, but the timer is getting into the danger time. We're on red time, and we're almost out of time, and the 2 versus 1. The Lion's able to not quite get round, and closer and closer they get, but unfortunately, that finish line is still just a little bit out of reach.
We were so close. I was feeling it. Maybe I cast a curse, kid, and I'm really sorry that I did, right? But we were so close. I tasted it and on the tip of my tongue, right? It was so beautiful. I was ready. I had the sentence prepared in my head. I mean, we had the perfect free operators. It were free opponents. The one thing that I kind of saw, it felt like they were afraid, right? It felt like they had what they needed. They had the Grims, they had the Lion, they had Deimos. Operators that not only isolate, that give information, but also that maybe makes their opponent second guess if they want to move or not. So, which could indicate if my opponent is going to have information where I'm standing or not. So, they had basically the perfect scenario. Just it seemed like they were afraid to actually take actions upon it. They threw the gadget, didn't quite land where they wanted to, but also the C4 on the other hand didn't land. And it didn't quite act upon it and lost their gunfights. In this, let's be honest, yes, it is 5 individuals placed together, but you still gotta win you one. It is a shoot at the end of the day.
So, we said it multiple times, you and I, 5-1. You know, it's not an impossibility. It's not the furthest away, and it's now time to try and get that locked in. It's the best possible site to do it, closer and closer, but what they've picked up here is control. Double up on the soft breach ahead. You know what they're going to go for here. They've got a couple of castles and such to stretch themselves through, but it's not impossible. The problem is, if you're looking at a team that is enjoying playing isolated defenses, now you've got a Vigil to deal with. Now you've got a confidence of this. You've got the lineup here of you're looking at 3 of these and you're like, oh, a Vigil, an Oryx, and a Doc. They're just gonna play for fights. They're looking for a scrap. And there's the first one. Cavi outside on towards the balcony. And you have lost one of your 3 soft breaches. Because I missed it before. But it's just the fact that they're thirsting for this engagement. It shows where the team's head's at.
Absolutely. I mean, they're having completely fun, right? I mean, Son, they're 0-5 up on a defender-sided map. Scouts War jumps out from behind, gets herself 2 beautiful picks. I mean, he's gonna be traded out at the very end, but let's be honest, the damage is already done. It is a 1v4. Within still a minute 30 left on the clock. What is actually happening?
I will say, I was like, these 3 people are going to look for a fight, and the people who jump out and go for these engagements is Legion, and then it's Castle. The 2 people I didn't say are going to be looking for fights. So you and I have both hit some caster curses over the past 2 rounds. 6-0. And that's sort of the greatest fear I think anybody has of coming onto Skyscraper. Like, any team, any level, we talk about the same in the SI Grand Final as you would to when I play ranked and lose all the time. You don't want to go to Skyscraper because if you're on attack first, your game has to be so tight, so intricate, and so coordinated. And, you know, you can know that you could have an entirely defender-sided Skyscraper. I'm probably sure in the history of all Comp Siege, there's probably been a Skyscraper where every single round win was a defense. And it went to max OT and then it ended. And it's the nature of the beast, but it's not, doesn't mean it's easy.
Absolutely not. I mean, there's still a possibility. 0-6, yes, it's not looking the greatest. That means 6 rounds need to be won after each other. Not a single mistake is allowed to happen from the side of Meowers now. But talking about the bans, we have a Blackbeard and an ace again. Yes, I'm not gonna get my ace on this map. No. No need to demonstrate how great he is, you know. I get it. It's okay. It's okay. No.
It's the Mirror's pass as well. It's
a Nazami in a Kaid. Mirror's open.
Oh no, sorry. Sorry, that's my English. You'll get used to it. After years of casting with a Dutchie, I always remember that I have to clarify some things to you on my stupid language that is English. Mirrored meaning reflection. It's a Blackbeard and an ace again. Not mirror meaning the the Spanish lady with the window. No. But I take full responsibility there. I know how cooked English is.
Listen, just to give a little bit more context to that, earlier I said send with a D and send with a T, and so for the people not knowing, English is not my first language, like my fourth language, so I did not know there's a difference. I got fluke opened and widened my eyes on that, but it was a very funny moment.
You were like, oh, what's the difference between send and sent? I was like, oh yeah, I forget what English is like. But we'll see if they've learned any lessons, I guess, from the side of the defense. I instantly like that they're still keeping themselves confident. We sort of got a brief idea of this approach last time when Meowers unfortunately got one on the far side, is you push your way into it. And you can see, obviously, they've gone for that approach, but Meowers, they've set up. They've got the shields. They've drawn all the drones, all the attention over towards that. And this, love it. The use of the gadgetry, make sure Shrine stays competitive, make sure you get the swing in, because it's 2 doors and a little bit of dodgy walls you got to get through, Danik, and it's not a lot of ground room here for the attackers.
It is not, but to take that ground, that is where the hardest part B is, because again, 1 door to go through and the other one is a little bit of a tiny hallway, and yet again the archer has been completely taken away, so the shield will remain for now. Warden, and well, my apologies, is doing a great job to make sure that that shield stays alive. The longer it does stay alive, the better it is for them, because they can hold on to Dragon, and Dragon is a power position in this case for the defenders.
So at this point, 2 minutes, but a huge amount of time wasted by the defenders, and they've peeled back. That sort of pitter-patter raindrop approach, it's perfect. And now they can try and make a confrontation. They escape. Oh, what a way for it to play out. A C4 gets 1. There's a bit of a trade back and a bang on the drum. Keeps us even here. 3 apiece, but a lot of damage done, and even more towards a Frost. But now again, leveled up. 2 versus 2. 2 defenders. Rennie and Zero, all that is left of potentially keeping Meowers on towards this map and keeping them fighting. As we said and pointed out, you gotta be flawless from the ride on here if you want to make sure you get the full experience of a skyscraper. And the views, they might not look so pretty right now. 30 seconds. Adriella and Scout trying to just get themselves across. You can see that there's a bit of, preemptive weighing up and measuring. The pocket reinforce, make things tighter, but oh no! In that time, they pushed up! And in that time, the Powerpuff Girls have shown they have sugar, spice, and everything nice for Skyscraper.
The first map has been decided. No more spies and no more meows left for Meows at this point. I mean, 7-0, not a single round even on defense. That was a tough game. As a starter on Skyscraper, already tough as pre-talk, but that one was really rough.
I mean, it's a shame because as we sort of complimented throughout the whole time, there was a lot that they were doing right. There was a lot that they were sort of getting themselves going with. But it's the nature of the beast that is Skyscraper, is the defenses get a lot to work with. The attackers have to be locked in. And by the end, the reason it came into such a sort of bloody brawl was probably just a confidence thing. One team's on 6-0, one team's on 0-6. We talk about the importance of that mindset and how they can get themselves there. And, well, that is it paramount, right? That is it in full technicolor.
Exactly, and the one thing that it is also, let's be honest here, it was just a big thing of confidence, and I hope it does not go to the second map because nervous may raise now, 7-0 is lost, but I would say before we go to the second map, let's head to a quick break. We'll be back very shortly.
Hi, my name's Natalie. I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege for about 7 years.
Hi, I'm Tex. I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege since about 2018. I don't know how long that is year-wise. I have been playing video games since I was pretty young. My family are all gamers. I think we pretty much started with like Diablo 3. We played a lot together as a family. Bit of Ark, and then the CSGO addictions and stuff started, and then after I got too angry at CSGO, Siege kind of is where I moved to next.
Well, I started gaming on Xbox. I was really into the Tomb Raider series, and then a bunch of people were playing Rainbow Six Siege, so I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. Yeah, that's where my addiction to Siege started.
I think on attack, I've been really liking Osa. She's just kind of fun, has EMPs, so I can kind of help my team. If I'm struggling taking space, I just put my shield in front of me and walk on in, or I can just hold something for my team if I need. Defense, probably Velk. I like playing Velk.
I like Valk too. She's like my crutch. I'll always go to maybe Legion, but then I'll find my way going back to Valk. And then on attack, Hibana. I really like Hibana. Nighthaven. Yeah, Nighthaven Labs.
I think for comp, my other one would be Chalet, I guess. G8 goes hard.
I tried to take Siege serious. I was on a team, like a all women's team, and we were playing competitively. We're competing in tournaments, Eris.
For me, I started kind of Siege when I was in college a fair bit. COVID times kind of hit, and it was pretty much a daily thing. Competing, making strats in my sleep.
Tex, you remember we used to actually compete against each other? I forgot what leagues though.
Pretty much all of them. Like almost every single women's league, we would always be against each other. I mean, my mom used to watch me play. I remember once I was playing in a comp match. I don't remember what league this was anymore. And we did the finals. And after the finals, they had a little interview and my team chose me to do the interview. And you can see my mom in the background putting ice cream on the corner of my desk because she was like, "Oh, I give you ice cream." So she was
that is so cute.
Like, putting a little Ben and Jerry's on my desk and like waving and walking away in the interview. Other than that, no.
That's cute. In the competitive days, yeah, I used to share the link to my mom. So I guess yeah, I'll shout out my mom. Can I do that? Yeah, I want to shout out my mom.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Well, the Meowers may have picked Skyscraper, but it does not go their way. A 7-0 start to this finals as the Powerpuff Girls absolutely dominate on that map to begin this best out of 3 final. Let's get right into discussing that game. Fluke, I want to start with you and just kind of talk about this defense as a whole, because it seemed like the Powerpuff Girls did such a good job of finding the right balance of proactivity and aggression throughout that entire half.
Oh, it's perfect. It was everything that you sort of wanted. I think that they were super reactive to what was being put forward. Their operator selection, the way they tried to get control of the map itself, they built in confidence, and we started to get some, I would say, more personal. I just want to jump on Ella. I just want to use. People pick Ella for the gun. It's like Alibi. And then they play against Shield is fine. But they were so confident, and it gave them more to work with. It gave them more to play with. But then physically, their positioning was, oh, this is where the approach is. Okay, I'm here. Like, oh, so we've just lost a fight here. Okay, I'm gonna push my fight. They made sure that they were doing the most important thing in this game, which is to trade and which is to work as a unit, and it worked so well.
Absolutely, and the one small maybe detail that was not as much shown in the one attacking round that we saw is even though they played very individually on the defense, on the attack we saw them stick every single time together, and that was really nice.
Yeah, if we're looking at that kind of style, obviously Skyscraper, super big inside map with a lot of these angles to kind of isolate fights. Do you think that this kind of style can continue into the rest of the series, or was this just a Skyscraper thing, Fluke?
I mean, I think Skyscraper plays well for defenders. I think a lot of what was being done by the attackers would have a lot more ground to work with on the other maps. I think they would have a lot less freedom, the defenders, and I think we would have a lot more rounds like the one that we saw at the end where both teams had a say in it. I wouldn't be surprised if we still got our way to 3 maps.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit more about the woes that Meowers went through in that first map. We have Light Rose standing by. She has a telestrator to break down some of the action on Skyscraper.
That's right. Welcome to Light Rose's Telestrator Corner. I get to talk to you guys. You guys get to have an American talking about this American siege. And I wanted to talk about round 3. That was the Blitz Rush. It was after the 1v1 with Tex. Now, if we go on in, we can see already 15 seconds have gone by. And these teams are trying to get set up for that Blitz Rush. You see a player up top. This is going to be your entry player, the one that Meowers really have relied on, followed by Rennie at the bottom. So as we hit play, we can see that they go for that hop in, and then Vi deploys the ROUs. The coverage isn't there, the gadgetry isn't there, and we can actually see it in this POV. There is nothing to help out this team. Mine isn't entering up above. You can see she's still all the way up top, not even looking through Geisha, and already Rennie is fighting for her life inside of Kitchen. But it's not all doom and gloom for Meowers. Yes, they lose Rennie, but they're able to get a trade. So what happens from then on? They have Tex coming all the way in from Terrace, while you have the 2 others all the way down there trying to hop in from Geisha, creating a sort of pinch with Zero inside of Karaoke. But unfortunately for Meowers, Tex loses the fight from 2 players inside of Drum itself. She's not really going to win those fights most of the time. You have a couple of fights happen. Mine does a great job trying to turn this one around, but even at the end of it, Powerpuff Girls know that they have the defensive advantage. Mel simply backs off and waits to play time. Powerpuff Girls, they play more as a team. They punish Meowers for their lack of coordination, their lack of gadgetry, and their lack of communication, and that is why they were able to 7-0 Meowers. Granted, Skyscraper is a very defender-sided map, as Fluke and Dianic will say. Hopefully, we will go to 3 maps, because you do want to see a little bit of fight inside of Meowers. But that is it for Light Rose's Telestrator Corner. Hopefully, I will see you guys for map 2 and map 3.
Thanks for that, Light Rose. I feel like the round that she broke down there was so emblematic, Dianic, of that map as a whole, right? Where you see Meowers have a preset idea, they're trying to go for a strat, and then one thing disrupts it, and these roamers from Powerpuff Girls were constantly just taking fights and disrupting these ideas.
Absolutely, and that is also what makes Skyscraper as an attacker really difficult. You gotta be ready to adapt every single moment, every single second, and they weren't able to quite do that.
Yeah, it was a tough map 1, but there's still more to play in this series. It's a best out of 3, and the life for the Meowers. That comes down to map 2 here. We're going to be heading to Labs. Fluke, what learnings are you looking for them to take from that brutal first loss as we get ready for their opponent's map choice?
Unfortunately, they've got to learn the toughest of all, which is from the School of Hard Knocks, which is when you get knocked down and other idioms, you get back on that horse. Just throwing them all together there like a big positive gumbo. It's the hardest thing to bounce back after a 7-0 loss, to come back in again in towards a map. They're starting, on their defense. They'll be able to work with some of that teamwork. They'll be able to build themselves. It's a fresh half, and that is going to be the first thing. Those first 2 rounds, if they can get those locked in and they can sort of go, oh yeah, we'll get this as a 4-2 half, it resets the entire series for them, and it resets the mental, and that is going to be that sort of opener. On the flip side, we had the amazing telestration about the Blitz Rush. If Powerpuff Girls pull off something like that in the first 2, it could be this sort of dangerous element now of, oh, this is going to be really hard to sort of rebuild the mental.
Mental is going to be a big thing because of that 7-0 loss. Like, maybe also like confidence will go down a little bit, right? The nerves will rise. The confidence may go down a little bit from the side of Meowers. It's going to be a tough thing no matter what for them on that second map. But the one thing that they have is, it is kind of like Clubhouse, right? They may have a few more rooms, hideouts, windows, breaches open, but it is a checklist map, and that's a big thing for them now.
Yeah, and for mine, a player who's talked a lot about how she wants to be that leader for her team. She, of course, played more matches than anyone else by far to earn that honor of being a team captain, now with the big responsibility to steady those nerves. You would think, Fluke, though, for a map like this, when it is a little bit more checklisty, it does lend itself to teams who have had less time together and have had less prep for specific things. But that's all to be found out as we get into map number 2. It's a life on the line for the Meowers as they're down 1 in the series, trying to push a 3rd map here on Night Haven Labs. I'll hand it over to you, Fluke and Dianic.
Oh, thank you very much, Mimi. And here we get to go. It is a best of 1. Right now, it's a best of 1 here. That's all they got to get their headspace into, Dianic. They just have to be one bit at a time, right? And what else can they do? But at the same time, Siege, and the beauty of it is every single round of this game starts fresh, starts even. Everything else can get pushed to the side. We have seen in this game the biggest comebacks happen on the biggest stages. It is just endemic to this game. It's all possibility.
Absolutely. And I mean, on top of that, exactly on this map, you talked about we've seen the biggest comebacks in this game. Well, we have seen the biggest comeback on this exact map. If we remember SI in Brazil and Rio, well, we had W7M against FaZe have a 6-1 comeback all the way to 8-6, like winning like 7 rounds in a row. Like, it was mental and brutal. So definitely, I'm just saying, I want to push a little bit here the confidence from Meowers. They can definitely do this, and on top of that, this time they're starting on a defense. They have this little bit of safety net. They don't have to worry about the time. Time is not going to be a factor that's going to play against them, but rather for them. So I hope this time, the coming 6th round, they can make great uses of this. It is, I believe, still a tiny bit defender side of the map, but it is very much even. A 4-2 perfect will come out. A 3-3 still really good. The second this tips onto the attacker side, that's where the problem starts again for Meowers.
So, what lessons have been learned? I guess it's going to be the taste of it. I made a sort of comment before about, are we going to get all-ins on hard breach? This is what we've got. You've got the Maverick, you've got the Ace, you've got that massive limitations, and it buys themselves the stat option, right? There's been a chance to get to know each other, a little bit of a handshake of how these rosters play out. Yeah, they've played together against the Cups, they've played in and amongst each other, they've been on each other's teams, yada yada. It's the top 10 of a mini league. But in the same sort of breath of it all, how these teams actually hit the boards running is a big statement, and now the limitations, you've got Hibana, you've got Thermite, and that's all you can play with outside of the pocket breaches. What do you have to do on this map? You've got to get IT open, you've got to get the push on towards the connector and the jungle side. Thermite can technically do it right now. Are you going to trust on the Soul thing? Because if this gets tricked, well, the Bandit's under a pressure there from the Buck underneath. Great. play, forces them out, gets the breach open, but you can see that, well, it's not worth losing your life over, is it?
That is a team play that makes the rounds more possible for the side of Powerpuff Girls. Let's be honest here, we had the fair trade, get rid of the one bandit charge, make sure that you breach on the side that the Buck can see from down below. I mean, what a better start in this round than this from the side of Powerpuff Girls. We've seen individually they're already great and warmed up today. Team-wise, they're doing fantastic with the first few rounds, and on top of that, they've gotten themselves the first injure. When we have retweeted one player back, but Cavi is just gonna make sure that the advantage stays on their side.
Oh, that was such a nice little push, but it's been pushed right back. Mine and Vi again finds 2 apiece. There goes Scout from underneath, though. Gets rid of Rennie. You sort of went in for the vertical, but with Turler down, 3 versus 1. They have the pings on the player. They know where the pressure's coming from, and they know Scout is about to find the fight itself. I love that they've just fully locked off the walkway here. They made things awkward for the approach, and this is just every sort of compliment we paid before in the final round of Skyscraper. Here it is. They started on IT, they pulled themselves back, they locked things, they created new problems, and as they thought they could go for the solve, well, they just couldn't. Turler, slowly and steadily bleeding out. The Buck tries to find a fight or an engagement somewhere, but at this point they're just sort of fate, really, more than anything. And Scout, the Buck that was far away, well, I claims her third. The setup and stuck in a box, nowhere to go, has the kit, has another kill for the trouble. 25 seconds, a 1 versus 2. Every smoke canister is used. They're about to meet a shotgun, and it goes... Oh, it doesn't go. It misses, and now Scout is suddenly in a 1 versus 1. Does a lot of damage here. All the pressure on towards the team captain. Mine tucks close on the corner. Bait the swing, goes for the pre-fire, can't connect, and oh! In the nick of time, the captain shines.
Meowers just doing it for the content apparently. Like, goddamn, can we step down a little bit? I really don't want my heart to skip another beat. In that moment, losing to Warden, losing Vi, who's already done 3 kills, and then losing another member, making it a 1v1, and thank God for the side of Meowers. They can literally say thank you to Powerpuff Girls for not hitting that first bullet. It was, I believe, like a few millimeters right off the head.
So
because it was so deadly close for that round to be a 1v3 clutch. So, Meowers, can we, you know, step it back a little bit? I know you guys love it. You know, that feeling, the pressure. I don't want my heart to skip another beat, right? That was already enough of my heart. Like, holy, I'm sitting here like gripping the chair. Just saying, it was really tough. But they got themselves the first victory, and that is really good. That is the first step for many more, and hopefully that builds up that confidence that we were talking about and shows them they can win rounds, and they just gotta make sure that what just happened doesn't happen again. So play together and be disciplined.
You know how I said before this, I was like, if one of the first 2 rounds goes away, that's going to be really hard to read with the mental. Imagine if the first round went away like that.
Oh god.
Like, you couldn't have set yourself up. In exchange, you get a clutch, but there's got to be this conversation of we can sharpen this up. Now, you've just heard the start of a breach get hit by a timber out. It's only going to buy time and get either side open, but at this point, when you've got nothing to try and remove on the other side, obviously no Kaid, they're not playing with the bandit again. They're just going to sort of let those walls tick away. The problem is that mirror window on the back line. They're buying time on this wall with the Tubarao, because as soon as this falls, well, what's the 2 that's sort of been banned? They've got the Hibana fine, but they can swing out. Hibana's not as sort of safe and quick as the Ace can be. You're going to have different levels of problems. There's top floor control, Powerpuff Girls, and they're just taking this bit by bit.
Just really good, and as we can see, there's one more roam around main.
They've missed
Did
it.
say she loves the vigil. Woohoo! And she will make sure she gets one. She's looking for more. She gets the second. The Pokeballs goes at war. Consider yourself taken and secured. I mean, at least one member from the side of Meowers is gonna have to lose their lives. Maybe 2. Cavi! Where's this coming from all of a sudden? The 3v3 is there, but we're just starting the second half of this whole round, so there's still a lot of time left.
Sorry, you know how you said you needed them to take it a bit slower? Disagree. They disagree. The breach is open, a minute 20, pressure on the site. Mine obviously had to fall back. She'd done her work elsewhere, but oh, as Trippy Mel's slides the way across, Zero was gone and is gone. And there's the N3 suddenly shut down. Powerpuff Girls, they're able to get that strike across the sort of preemptive pre-fire there. It's just game sense, right? It's the expectation of, I have to cross this divide. Someone is either going to swing me from this position and I'll be in a firefight, or they won't and I'll waste 10 bullets. Does it, gets the kill, 1 apiece.
Cavi,
Need to
I mean,
locate and defuse bombs.
she literally did 3 apiece in that round, being one of the deciding factors to change that whole thing. Scouts at War did their part, but Trippy, too? I mean, those two basically closed the whole round. We're like, right, maybe we've lost a few members of our team, but we're still alive. We can still make the kills. Now, looking at this round, the one thing that I really felt was missing the round before was a smoke. And as we can see, that smoke has been adapted because it is the basement floor. There's a lot of angles which you can hold if you want, but you can also use utility to just make sure that space is not able to be taken or a plant cannot happen. For example, in that corner where Trippy was standing on the main breach, if you have a smoke, if you have a go, if you have a Tachanka, you can't really play in that corner because that smoke, if you throw it perfectly, will cover exactly that. And then you're forced to run away with not your gun out because you're gonna take so much damage. So I hope they can utilize these smoke canisters a lot more in this round and just get that loss back and turn it into a victory.
So there was a conversation that we had even longer ago when we talked about the roles that the players are going to be taking in, especially the captains. And I love that mine is stepping more and more into this, I need to be the first engagement. Brilliant, brilliant two-piece. Knew where they needed to get for the previous round, and they're just making sure that every single round, they're stepping it up. They're bringing more and more of this game and trying to sort of track the team into it. And you know, at this point, they're more than happy to look for the confrontations again, and you can see that there's a lot of fear on towards this area. Powerpuff Girls, they're not taking any more risks. They don't want to get caught by another quick 2k swing, but this time mine has more friends to work with, has a bit more of a support structure. And with the bandit on towards the wall, more time to be wasted. A bit of damage on towards the top of Cargo, gets locked out, captain versus captain. And as I said, she's trying to wave that flag. She's the front, she's the banner bearer, she's the leader. And she's leading them in towards another opening kill here, Dianic.
It was a good start, but there's one more person roaming around that building. Scots at War still somewhere in that building left. While Trippy, Cavi, and Teller all on that main breach. They all want to get that open. That bandit is gonna make it really difficult. Same as the tuba routes. Right now, there is a huge advantage when it comes to that Scottish War person. Again, single individually, left alone. Nobody to refrag. The second that kill happens, we have a huge man advantage on the side of Meowers. The question is, no, can we get that kill without losing a member? Because the verticality will start, and right now it does seem like Meowers have kind of all fallen back to the side.
Well, a minute left, and just misses the first engagement here. No, they don't. Tex, unfortunate positioning, gives Scat the drive in, and too many options, overloaded, and overplayed there. Gives them the 4 versus 3. They've got themselves locked in here with everybody back on the defense, and with Turler gone as well, without the kit. 2 versus 4. It's a very tough egg to crack here. Again, great positioning. I've complimented her enough over these previous rounds, but she is relentless here on this drive to keep Meowers fighting. 7-1 after 3 rounds, and it might be 8 depending on where Meowers wants this last fight. I think she's just sort of baiting it out. Great positioning. There's 1. There's no more.
I was about to say, because that would have been really close yet again, but they had the crossfire, which I'm really thankful for. But on top of that, wasn't quite as much shown, but they also had the diffuser in their possession, so they knew exactly where she's gonna have to walk in, where she's gonna have to position herself, and that was a really great usage of having that knowledge, playing it passive, and just waiting until they get that sound cue to swing around that corner. Meowers get themselves a second defense round, but the third wave of bans come in, and I think Meowers made it pretty clear what they want to not be opened.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all or nothing, or it feels all or nothing. And with the buff that they've gone through, because this, you'll agree, this wasn't unusual to have 3 hard breach bans before the patch. Now it's this element of, oh, we kind of desperately need to do it. They need to just be playing with secondaries. They need to be severely limited. And, you know, it's the way of going about it. 2-1 up right now, Meowers. It's still sort of all to play for, but the first round was closer than they probably would have liked, it's fair to say.
Yes. It was. Yes. Yet again, another very round. Way too close for my liking. Meowers, again, maybe they still need to find a little bit more together. Surprised to see the Vigil not being banned, considering, yes, it would be an individual target ban, but she has been hopping off individually. She's currently 7-1 within 3 rounds being played. 4th one now starting. Still surprised to see that they've unitedly decided, let's bound the Tuba route. It's a big factor here. And then I've been getting the opening kill now, so they already have an advantage. But I do believe if Main keeps popping up like this, she's gonna be a really annoying factor to deal with. And the fact they didn't ban Vigil, an operator that she so loves and feels confident on, may actually bite back Powerpuff Girls.
Well, I think one of the questions I would then ask you then, as they start to get themselves the control over the space, they've lost the gridlock towards the Capcan. The gridlock's probably the worst loss here. What would you pick then to go against a Vigil player that's popping off?
Oh, absolutely. A Deimos, a Jackal, or an IQ. Those 3 operators, I mean, we have an IQ, but it's not the best reliable thing, but it also cancels out other gadgets. But the IQ will make sure at least one of the threats is neutralized. 0 will be removed, and that is a Bandit gone, meaning they can open up a few more walls here with that Hibana. The second those charges are gone, but other than that, yes, you can pick a Tokaebi, but the gun is still in their hands. I would rather say bring a Deimos, bring a Jackal to really get rid of Main, because if she pops off here yet again, one more kill and it's neutralized yet again.
So the Kiba limitation as well, which something that's massively hit on, means that pushing out and extending on towards the rafters is pretty dangerous as an understatement. So at some point they'll probably try and reinforce that. They're just hoping they can get a bit of utility from it first and say peel back. The play against the drone game, the play with the Vigil, the slow, the sort of delay aspect hasn't massively worked this time round. It's a 4 versus 3 closed down towards the site itself, but what they do have working in towards their favor is the fact that they've obviously still got the Hibana is the only hard breach. You're looking at getting open these swing angles, you're looking at maybe towards the pillar pressure, you're looking at here to get round, to get comfortable and to get confident. Is no easy feat. Look how spread they are. You've got Mel's top of pitch, you've got nobody top of rafters because they got blown out the building, but they just push on the site. And the Powerpuff Girls will level us up.
There may be an explosion happening towards the rafter side. The Capcan, yeah, again found himself a prey, but that didn't do all too much because Powerpuff Girls, as he said it, walked on side and just said, man, it's fine. It can happen. Like, go on. Like, actually, genuinely, just like, let's just keep the round rolling and going. It did seem like to me that Meowers weren't quite fully prepared for that yet again. It feels like they have those setups, they have the side setup, but they aren't ready for Powerpuff Girls to start an engagement. The round's ticking down. The number is going down on the clock, you know, and as every competitive player, the second you see that number go below 1, especially since TDM meta and everything's at a more, ever since 20 seconds meta have left Rainbow Six Siege, you can expect and execute. So why does it seem like for me that Meowers, they aren't ready for it? It feels like they're waiting for those 20 seconds, even though they aren't really existing in Rainbow Six Siege anymore as much.
Okay, well then I'll ask the same question. What would you pick, as before, what would you pick then as a defender right now to limit how Powerpuff Girls are getting their sort of control? What do you think is missing? What feels missing if you were putting this defense together?
Like, it feels like a mute is missing to deny information. Like, Powerpuff Girls are doing a great job when it comes to droning, getting that information, getting the IQ. I mean, great stuff here. I mean, yes, they're getting the kills, but you want to deny info, right? So bring a mute, bring a Mozzie maybe if you want to be fragging, if you want to be confident. And or generally like a
The buck, get out of there!
0?
Oh, Was that?
What's happening?
I think I don't want to be like that was a keyboard disconnect, but they
did
weren't
seem like
like they were just shooting in a straight line. That might have just been the worst possible timing ever. But oh, a tragedy. We've seen a tragedy. And well, now the Buck fortunately played their life out there in that situation. Gabby gets on towards Rennie. The breach is open. And delay hasn't worked. And one of the things that I would have said is potentially missing here is things to stop this. There's no Fenrir. There's no chance at making this swing difficult. They're being active with their swings, but that's what Powerpuff Girls kind of want. Look how happy they are to just move up. Think of how many times we've had them just walk in towards the site. Where's your sort of Melusi or Fenrir? They could offer loads in towards this hole, and instead they've got to flee. This Buck underneath has forced them out. There's Tex getting Turler. Hasn't been able to get themselves into us, but there's the Buck getting on towards mine, gets the team captain, keeps us into the 4 versus 2. The flash is deep, the Buck is free with this man advantage to keep the pressure up, and again, it's just these angles they can swing in. Vi's able to actually win out, and Adriella takes care of the back end. Now it's a 1 versus 3 though, and they know exactly where she is. So at this point, the Hibana, oh, they don't even need to drift in and plant. Everyone's dead.
Again, it's been done, and that's it. I mean, totally agree with you. Bring a Fenrir. Bring something to actually nerf Powerpuff Girls when it comes to their ability to frag, right? So when you think about it, you could bring an Ella. Do funky things with your vision. You could bring a smoke entry deny. You could bring a Fenrir. I think really good as well. Cap guns, bring that insecurity. Oh, I have to look at this door. Maybe there's a cap gun trap. Gives you a second more chance to shoot. But what I think right now Meowers need is really to nerf a little bit Powerpuff Girls in their ability to frag, or bring that confidence with just as much frag power as they can give. And that's exactly what I think we're getting right now. We're getting a Vigil and we're getting an Alibi. I think I have not seen Alibi being used for a very long time, and I do hope that this might be a confidence pick or a gun pick from Vi, and that she wants to get rolling.
10 seconds
Okay,
left.
because she has been popping up a little bit when it comes to the kills from the side of Meowers, so hope
5
with this
seconds
pick
remaining.
she's confident and can get many more to bring this to an even scoreline.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So let's see if there can be a little bit
IDT
more.
active. Sweeping
I
perimeter.
guess just in the end of this, a 3 apiece half isn't the end of the world. It's not the biggest sort of tragedy in this. So we saw. Wasn't sure if we were entirely going to roll into attack there. Maybe the problem got solved. We did see an unfortunate disconnect at one point from a keyboard, so
It's okay, we just don't talk about that
we
anymore.
just don't talk about it. I'll move on. What
It
unsaid
happened,
will
it happened.
Cook up some trouble. They're trying to find this first engagement, but look how fearless they are. I think that's the main thing, right? There's this fearless approach, and sure, Mine's been able to play a brilliant game on the roam, but it hasn't slowed them. And you have to think, how do we support this? Because since Powerpuff Girls have sort of cracked on towards that play, Mine hasn't been able to get another kill over the past 2 rounds. You need to try and find a way to prop up these extended holds. And at this point, getting themselves the alibi, gun pick, find the fight pick. And, well, this is what looks like our first take from the kitchen side, down the vending, onto EXO.
We also saw the great usage of droning again from the Powerpuff Girls. Always 1 person or 2 people on those drones right now. They gotta just make sure they keep those angles. There's 2 stairways they could be using to just get up there and cause some trouble. Salar is going to be the first one to be injured here. He's going to be the Ram, so an operator we want to keep for that vertical play is going to be removed. And look at the timing for a second. Yes, vertical play may have just started, but there's only 1 minute and 10 left, so not all too much here. And nothing to stay all too confident from the side of Powerpuff Girls, because the time is running and everybody knows it. That's when the nerve starts to rise and mistakes may be happening because, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, and all of a sudden you find yourself with the back to an enemy.
I'll tell her again, struggling to really get into this map so far. They've been a couple of the entry deaths, and this is another one to add to that history, but Vortex goes down, it sprays in towards the site itself. 40 seconds, and Powerpuff Girls are just going to have to try and send it, but they've not got control of cargo. The Alibi is free to swing their way out. It's Ring Around the Violent Rosies. Oh, and Vi is the one that wins it twice. I've seen her in a do or die, and she's caused death. Now as all the kills flood in. For the last kill, fine.
It's great. It's amazing.
That's teamwork. That's teamwork, that is.
Teamwork makes the dream work? Is that how the phrase goes?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
There we go. So I did not mess up the phrase, which I'm honestly a little bit proud of myself. But you know, here you go.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm joking. But nonetheless, we saw Main and Vi pop off 2 confident picks, and I think it worked out perfectly. Again, Powerpuff Girls are really strong when it comes to those team fights. Yes, on the attack, they're really well coordinated. We're gonna have to give them that credit, but they're also getting those kills. But the second Vi and Main, they're starting to get these kills. They're causing for some trouble that Powerpuff Girls maybe are not expecting, and it might be a little bit of a fight back. And also, Meows have used their timeout. They had a little bit of time to chat with each other. That's when they also have a chance to get access to their coach if they have a coach within the team, which is helping them. Because this is a completely... So, 2 captains picking their own team. I don't assume there would be a coach, but hey, what do I know? Maybe they were really, really quick on getting one, you know? Maybe they know someone. Or somebody they know a coach, you know? Like...
You never know. Get him in.
You never know.
Fabian, what's he up to?
Fabian, give us the analytics. I'm
Fabian,
gonna ask
come
Victor
in.
Rose to do that.
Ah, Fabian. So actually, confirmation, that was the tech. That was just the admin getting sorted. So Meowers, I think, still have theirs in pocket, just in case they want to call it. But I'll get everything sorted. 3 apiece, though. We have an even half. We have a back and forth brawl. This second half
Defenders protect your
is
bombs from being defused
the
by
worry
attackers.
now, I think, building on. Because as I said a long time ago, when Meowers were on their approach, good ideas punished by great defending. And that's the moral of many a Siege tale. Here, with a bit less to play for, with in terms of defenders, with a bit more of an awkward space, this site I think is going to be something where they'll be able to keep themselves aggressive. They've got the Capcan, they can lead themselves around with the Valkyrie. Otherwise, I'm hoping Meowers' attacks start to hit the site a little bit more cohesively because you're not on blimmin' skyscraper anymore.
Keep an eye on doorway trap. Stay clear of blast zone.
Also, just to fall into the same... I may not be able to say this perfectly as you. We also have the bands. We again have an Ace and a Maverick, so the bands have been mirrored. There you go, see? But it's not as much close
I mean,
as...
it's better than me. I
don't know. I was trying to do it as close to a mirror as possible, but I can't. I'm not as... maybe I need to still develop that accent.
I don't think anyone wants to sound like me. I'm that weird middle bit of English between. Yeah.
You never know.
That's true, actually. I'm sorry. If you want to sound like me, there are classes for pronunciation. But yeah, it's mirrored. You're entirely correct. Double hard breach gone. The difference is there's the bandit and the kite. There's the stopping power of playing against those walls. Ooh, there's the stopping power on your Brava. Taken off. And now, you know, you're looking at maybe some of the Capcans becoming more of a problem later on if they haven't got the mute jammers from the bit of range. They might be a bit more awkward unless the sort of teams can get in and get pop in. Does offer some more support and one less great gun on the attack.
One gun gone, but also a whole support as well. Bravo! We have a Valkyrie. Could have hacked those cams. Could have gotten that information. That's gonna be the issue now. And as we can see, Teller is rotating around. Very sneaky. Tries to get the self behind those opponents. Potentially cause a massive upset. is going to be unlocked because that door is not being used. The opponents are yet to be found and they're outside. Main is going to be injured on that balcony and soon also to be finished. They're looking for these kills. Cabby finds herself another one on the other side, and Scots is just going to make sure that Main is not going to lay another foot in this round. And all of a sudden, it's Vi on the Thatcher in a 1v5. I mean, Scots is injured, but it's still a 1v5 as long as that person has not been taken out.
Scout got injured peeking outside. She knew what she was doing. I'll give her that. And what she was doing was finding a fight. And I mean, what a lockdown. It's the same stuff that we said about the defense on Skyscraper, though, isn't it? Look at how they moved. As soon as things were like, this is where the push is, a lot of the team went over. Not all of the team, but as soon as they started winning the engagements and trades, they went, okay, we can double down. We can triple down. And one by one, they're able to sort of piece it. As I said, that's the site that's probably going to feed that playstyle the best.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
But
bombs.
you always have to look at the growth. You have to look at where you're going to end up. And now you're in the basement. And I would say an important part of this is how you can get control over the top 2 floors.
Absolutely.
Attackers have
But I do
located a
have
bomb.
a very interesting question for you because I want to know your opinion about this.
Hit me.
If you would have been in Meowers' shoes, yeah, obviously no Powerpuff Girls are really strong when it comes to the individual fights and also gunfights. Now knowing that Kaid and Benny are not quite working out, your third and last and final ban, would you do a target ban and maybe ban out a gun which Powerpuff Girls are using quite a lot and is really strong? Or would you really stick to an operator that is just being annoying and want to take out utility?
Is there a right or wrong answer? Will I get in trouble if I get it wrong?
Convince me. No right or wrong, just deliver. Give us your convincing answer. Convince us to your cause. Your answer.
Oh no, that's even more pressure. Limiting utility, I think, is always an important bit. I think being able to get a handle on a game that feels like it is a driving force, I think, is a very important bit. There's an expert demonstration of utilizing utility quite nicely. As the fuse charges start to improve and the pressure comes on towards the side, I don't know, you're making me think of things, and I'm not smart enough.
Don't say that.
Oh, okay. Thanks, life coach. I've forgotten entirely what my point was going to be now, so I'm just going to move on. Pretend I gave a really convincing answer.
Great answer.
Are you
Completely convinced utility should be what they should ban next.
Oh my god, I got it right, everybody. Yes, complete control of utility should be banned next. And complete control of the upstairs hasn't really been got. They've got themselves the drones in. They're looking to the pressure on towards vending. They made quick work of those walls fine, but quick work is a minute 30, and you still have players on the top floor. You still have a support structure for that player as well. It's Turla. I said before, she hasn't really gotten her teeth into this, but most of her previous game when she did was on defense. And they seem to have a Valkyrie cam awareness. They're baiting the C4s up towards the pressure. But no catch as of yet. A little bit of a slow and a stall here for the attackers.
Also, we're just on that top floor watching an angle. Yes, this is a flank spot potentially, but we could do this in other more effective ways. Is this the line? A minute is left and we're still outside IT? We're so far away from our teammates and now we've lost a member. The issue is just Meowers. They might be afraid. They want to take these gunfights. They don't have maybe that coordination when it comes who goes on a drone, who doesn't gonna go. The big thing what I see here right now, and this is the chance what they have, and they only have one of them. There's 2 players from Powerpuff Girls who are low HP, and they gotta kill them now because the 35 vacuum mark is coming.
That's it. A lot of damage done, though, but mine is still standing, and it only takes a bullet to kill, and oh, that one couldn't quite get the bite as Trippy Mel's doubles down and cleans up in cargo. Mine, though, as I said, is able to lock one out, and there's a follow-through. The captain keeps driving until she's unfortunately hit a speed bump. Tex, a 1 versus 3 with 10 seconds. Trying to just get an engagement. Does get the end of one. Has to pull out the goo mine in open space, and it was the flank. As I said before, they had the space, they had the map, they had the top 2 floors for a long time, and now they have themselves a 2-round buffer.
This is not looking too great, let's be honest. Already a map down 7-0, and now on the second map being 2 rounds down on the attack is... It is hurting a little bit for the side of Meowers. The
Attackers
last
need to locate and defuse bombs.
ban will come after this round. So... The question that I'm really asking myself is here, might that be already too late, right?
Attackers
So we
have
want to
discovered
ban
the
a little bit of
location of a
utility,
bomb.
but on the other side, what do you really ban, right?
Yeah.
There's so much power on the side of Powerpuff Girls that one ban is not gonna nerf that. What I would love to see is, honestly, bring smokes, bring a glass, bring a ying, just do something completely out of pocket maybe that might throw over Powerpuff Girls completely. Well, they know, okay, Meows are gonna play this slow. Well, what if you just throw a ton of smokes into an objective? Bring a glass, they're not gonna bring a warden. There you go. Could be something, could be absolutely nothing. The one thing that I need is for Meowers to support each other and be next to each other. Like, literally, not hand in hand, but like right around the corner. Support each other a little bit more.
Nope, totally agree with you. I think one of the things as well is obviously, you know, there's such a confidence from the guns and the gunners of Powerpuff Girls, but they are also, importantly, playing the trade game. They're making sure that there's always this sort of double up. The comms crystal clear in terms of it. And I know we sort of talked about at the very beginning of the day, the idea of, you know, playing the LAN setup, how much it helps. But there's also the other side of it where you're not in your home setup. You're in a little bit more of an uncomfortable space. Yeah, you get to play alongside each other, but there's a big difference between doing that and being in a space that is home that lets you just sort of laser in and focus. And you can see that they are, Powerpuff Girls are so confident and so comfortable, more than anything. Here's some pressure on towards the top that are forcing the players back in, but just an immediate attempt to step back into that position. And you think, well, what's the utility gone? It's got rid of the barbs. Do they know that a fight is instead going to follow up? Because Adriella's like, oh, the barbed wire's gone? Fine. I am the barbed wire now.
I'm gonna be the next obstacle you're gonna have to overcome, and I'm more deadlier than that barbed wire. Oh, you make a little bit of damage, but I'm gonna take off that head of you. Listen, she's right back in there. 2 nades have been thrown in again. She's like, no, I'm still here. You're still gonna have to deal with me. Peeks around the corner, not gonna be as successful yet, but that one was really, really close. And the one thing that she's doing fantastically, look at the time. 1:10 of the left on the clock, and Meowers, they're not even inside of the building yet.
This is the problem, right? That's 3 bits of utility that have been thrown through onto this position. One, okay, you can write off as getting rid of the barbed wire, but where's the support? Where's the second player? Where's the pressure that's coming in? Instead, has to go for the hop, gets in, Cabby's able to find a kill elsewhere, and then loses it out, and the kid is now cold, and you just needed a bit of extra lateral pressure. They do get the drop on one and the down on another, but now with the kill outside the window, it's a technical 3 versus 4. And that's that little bit extra wiggle room. Oh, the death comes from outside the breach, but they know now exactly where the player is. They also know where the kit is, and it doesn't really matter. We're not going to see it again. That is now sitting on map and series point. Them Powerpuff Girls.
Let's not forget what we are playing for would be to crown yourself the winner of the rally points, and on top of that, walk away with a sweet grand prize of 5,000 USD in your cash. And let's be honest, 5,000 it is not little, considering this is potentially the biggest female prize pool that we had in the female league. So you want to be on that top spot, and I'm gonna have to say it, Meows, they need to wake up now, or it is completely over. Yes, pretty much obvious. They had their few slacking rounds, they had their few excuses. Mine, she is on the game, 10 and 6. But where's a Zero? Where's an Ares? Where is also Vi? She has been missing the past few rounds. Where are all these players? They don't seem to be present within the rounds. Utility might be thrown, but no action is happening. What you said, 3 nades have been used. One, okay, you can write off as getting rid of the barbed wire, but why is there no push happening? And Powerpuff Girls, they're just honestly playing their game. I mean, look at their kills. Tyler is maybe the one person who isn't there with the kills, but she's given great information. She's playing those support operators, and as a supporter, you don't always need to get the kills. You need to support your team, and she's doing a fantastic job in doing that. Being the droner and giving intel.
Well, that's the sort of comment about anybody that's in those positions, is not everybody needs to be a gunner, right? And not everybody needs to be there. On attack, she suffered a couple of early deaths. It happens. But on the first map, she was one of the top killers and one of the big sort of forces. And, you know, it's an adaptable roster and you change towards the map itself. But at the same time, hasn't needed to be the top killer. When you've got Kathy 11-4, massive, massive map with her. And just putting in that extra bit of damage, and, you know, why not? There's the perfect life, is to sit on site and let others do the hard work and be like, yeah, I'm part of this. I'm on cam. And here, there's the first pick. Hex gets rid of Scout, who's been, to be fair, a pretty consistent thorn in the side of Meowers when they're on attack. As the buck getting underneath here, she just keeps getting aggressive and stepping out. The Blackbeard has a goo mine in foot. Doesn't feel confident to take it out yet. There's a second follow through. They pull themselves back towards safety and now try and charge themselves across the rafters. It's going to be a pinch towards this rafters position, because Rennie gets Cavi. Starting to look like the best attack so far. It kind of has to be, right? It's all or nothing right now. And there's that Ossa right up against the door, just getting the beat, the read through. The C4 won't quite catch the Ossa. She gets round the corner to safety, but people are about to be blind and they're flooding their way in towards the side here, Dianic. There's the spray, there's the damage, there's a bit of destruction, and there's Adriella, but they can't quite keep biting. Tala does! Feasts upon a double, and the approach has been slowed and stemmed. A 2 versus 2 Dianic.
Everything has been held down and pushed back to the very last second. Teller will be shot down in one member standing. It is her and only. Trippy has left her now. 0 and Rennie, all up to you guys. It's now or never. This could be the very last round, and it won't be. 0 will clutch up in the end. Get that kill on Teller. Just make sure she has no more kills in this round to take. I mean, she has nearly completely flipped the script for the side of Meowers there, but thank God when we need a 0, she was there, because this could have been a 7-3. We're gonna have a one more round, potentially a few more, because let's be honest, look, it's only 2, and we've seen tons of comebacks on a 6-4.
Oh,
Attackers need to locate
an
and
unbelievable,
defuse as many bombs as they can.
And it's on this site as well. This was the flawless. This was the site where the first time round, Meowers just really couldn't get their teeth into it. Powerpuff Girls full sent outside the building almost at one point, and for that to be the one that they can retake and rebuild, it has to sort of piece together. I love the utilization of all the operators, and I think so did they, because they're doubling it down. They're sending it back. Get the Blackbeard, get the Candelas, get themselves in towards the site, bit by bit, alongside the Oster Shield as well. Let's not leave things to chance. Let's be that blunt force that moves its way across the top floor and just gets itself locked in. What's the counter towards that? Potentially the Goyo, potentially obviously more of the Legion that was causing problems, the smoke as well. Anything you can do to slow them down alongside Warden's magical fancy glasses. But Meowers, it's still got to be flawless. It's still got to be no more mistakes.
Absolutely, and the one thing that I really like is they realized, right, we can't fight fire with water and slow down Powerpuff Girls, but we can fight fire with fire and try to maybe heat up our side with aggression to just fight against them. And it worked out last round. Definitely a few hiccups. Again, my heart skipped a beat yet again. Teller made sure it's gonna happen. And we're gonna get an opening kill.
Oh no, oh no! Both shields gone, mine almost meeting them. I mean, 2 outside peeks on towards the pressure there, 0! Taken out, mine does find 1. Adriella hopped up, tried to finish the kill, but the Finker survives. Misthrown goo mine buys. Second of silence, but look at the positioning of the Goyo as well. That's right up against the window. If mine tries to leave, they've got to do it via Scout. Rennie goes as well, and it is just The captain left. Now doing their best, but you can see Trippy moving in towards IT. The fight down on towards Rafters, but she can't escape. There's no route out that is clean. There's at least the drop onto one. But there's the finish, and there is Powerpuff Girls soaring on towards these two maps. It was a well-fought contest, but unfortunately, the divide and the deficit was just a bit too big for the Meowers to creep across, and the cats have run out of lives.
Powerpuff Girls have done it. They can crown themselves the winner of Rally Point. The Meowers unable to fight, to have a little bit of standing, not even a singular map. She could have gone 4 rounds is all they got between 2 whole maps, and it just seemed like the Powerpuff Girls, they had an answer for every single thing that Meows were trying. Every single time there was a Powerpuff Girls getting a kill, getting another one. And the second I was like, okay, they found the kryptonite. It was aggression. I guess we were let down yet again. It was just a one-time oopsie from the side of Powerpuff Girls to give them that attack run to their opponents. Well, I guess the story was ended for Meowers here and there by Powerpuffs.
But, I mean, credit to both teams, obviously, for all the work put in, for the fight, to be able to get themselves in as well. And it just shows the sort of growth in towards this, that we can only have one winner. And we'll be with that team. A bit more information after a quick break.
Hey everyone, my name is Tex.
Hey everyone, this is Trippy Mills.
I'm Viveka.
My name is Rennie. I've been playing since year 3, season 3.
I have been playing Siege for about 5 years now.
I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege since 2018.
And today I'm going to be guessing your ranks.
No idea where they are. I got the 1. Okay. Spider-Man repel. Okay, I'm gonna say plat.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, uses nitro. That's good. Oh, nice. You got a 3K. I think silver, maybe. Bronze. Good stuff.
Waiting for his picks. Got the doc coming back to site, I'm assuming. It's very slow. Jiggle peak. So far, I'd give him like emerald. I'm gonna say this guy's plat. Silver?
His sensitivity's way too high for him also. This is silver. Oh my god, this is the easiest silver I've ever seen. Bronze, okay, yeah, copper, yeah. Yeah, that was terrible, holy.
Guess the one to Nook. I'm assuming this is a console clip. Gonna go with plat. Silver. I
mean, this recoil control ain't too bad. Gold for this. Bronze. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And his game looks like... Okay. Doesn't know where to pre-fire. And he kind of got that kill on accident. But, overall, he's not bad. I'd say he's emerald. That is not copper. I don't care what anyone says.
Okay, hoping for peak. Good aim. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's good. Okay, it was M. Damn, I was right the first time.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody.
Some of those clips were definitely not the rank they were supposed to be, and I hope they go higher.
A lot of y'all were a lot better for the ranks that you guys were. I clearly overshot quite a bit.
There were some good clips in there, some not so good ones. And thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon, I guess.
Powerpuff Girls are your Rally Point Finals champions. A 2-0 win, only dropping 2 rounds throughout today with a very dominant win. Welcome back. We're standing by here waiting for an interview with one of your victors and a telestrator to break down some of that as well. Before we get into all of that, guys, let's recap this second map holistically and just this series as a whole. The Powerpuff Girls, Diana, came out, they played a dominant game, and I wanted to start by asking you, if you had to look at this match, if we were assigning an MVP, who would stand out in your mind?
Ooh, if I would be assigning one MVP, I think it would be Main, because just, even though she was on a losing team, she's done really, really many kills. She's turned so many rounds ahead. I don't think they could have gotten 4 rounds with her being there.
I think it's a very, very fair point. I think she put in that extra effort. In the very beginning, the team was struggling to sort of cook in, and you know, they were able to get 3 on the defensive half. They got 1 on the other side, and she was always a constant part. If I was to look at the Powerpuff Girls from the last map that we saw, Scout, she kept on being underneath. She did the vertical roll, which is like such a tricky role to get kills on, full stop, that you look at players because they're good at that, and play it like Shaiko, you're like, oh yeah, he can do vertical, we can build holds around that. She was pushing people in towards Fish and Aqua, she was pushing on towards the breach and stuff, and it was just so consistent, and they couldn't get an answer for her.
And she was also performing on the defensive side. You think of that map 1, how many rounds was she on the roam on Bandit, getting 2-3 kills single-handedly, winning a round for her team?
Not only in the first map, right? Like on the first map, she was completely popping off, and on the second one, she had so much to say as well, right? Not only was as Fluke already said, playing vertically, but also the kills. I mean, she was up there on that scoreboard on both of the maps, having huge impacts, not by just getting 1 pick each round, but 2, sometimes triple, and it was just, she was there and she was ready for that best of 3, and you could tell she was.
Yeah, let's watch back some of the replays from that second map. This one, it felt like we had some closer rounds that were coming down to the wire, Fluke, but again, it was, you're looking at Meowers, they have a solid initial plan, but it falters at the end, and Powerpuff Girls were so good at closing out these late rounds consistently.
Oh yeah, I think that was the thing about it, was it was tighter, it was closer. Don't get me wrong, there were some rounds where people might have overextended and people might have got a bit overconfident. It was usually a thing, though, that Powerpuff Girls are really, really good at punishing. But their Scout just dropping in, getting 1, getting 2, that round sort of pulled back because of the effort that Mine put in. It was almost the question of, we had no idea how these 2 teams were going to shape up when we got in towards the maps. But I think we sort of got a pretty clear demonstration of the team that was sort of a lot of great ranked gunners loved this map pool and loved this sort of map ban phase because they just had space to play.
Exactly, and it just also felt like Meowers, they weren't quite able to punish Powerpuff Girls for that sort of behavior, right? When you think of ranked players, when you think of like just gunners themselves, they peek, they overextend, they're aggressive when they don't need to be. You know, in those very last few seconds, we saw them run out, we saw them pick those 1v1 fights, but never did we actually see Meowers try to punish them or were able to punish them. And I think that was also a big reason why we saw Powerpuff Girls run away with a lot of these kills and a lot of these runs because of those kills.
Yeah, well, that 7-4 victory on map 2 wraps up this series. But for more specifics on that second map, Light Rose is standing by again with the telestrator.
And we are back. I have a beauty for you. It's kind of talking about Meowers' attacking struggles. It really was the entire issue that plagued them throughout the entire game. Now, we'll start it here. I want to highlight a couple things. First, minute 20 left in the round. So we're about halfway through, slowly working towards the end. And nothing much is happening. I think we can all see that. Tex is deciding to hold into IT. Well, let's look at where the Powerpuff Girls are. Basement, 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 first floor, first floor. The only thing that you would wanting to be maybe trying to get a cut on if someone is going to walk up water stairs or if someone's going to walk up garage stairs. And this highlights Meowers' lack of synchronicity. They don't have the communication. They don't have the wherewithal of knowing where Powerpuff Girls are throughout halfway through the round and going into the latter half of the round, and it leads to desperation. We're now 45 seconds in, and Zero is having to take a fight on a hatch. Vi, one of the main fraggers for Meowers, is having to go all alone in a 5v3, 30 seconds left, no utility. Meowers had many struggles throughout this entire series, and a lot of that just came down to their lack of coordination, and from, at least on our end, it seemed like there was a hitch in communication. It's unfortunate the way that it happened, but Meowers are going to go down as Powerpuff Girls are going to be your rally point champions. But that's going to be it from me. It's been very lovely to be a part of this as a telestrator, to talk to you guys directly. But that's gonna be it for Light Rose's Telestrator Corner. Following up, we have a winner. We have an interview with Scouts of War from Powerpuff Girls. Take it away.
Thanks very much, Light Rose. Yes, I'm joined by Scouts at War. Congratulations, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. That was really fun.
Of course, I'm so glad to hear that. You guys played amazing, a dominant win here. I wanted to start by asking you about the approach to this, because the way that you and your teammates qualified was playing week by week pug games. Here it was putting together a team, playing a whole BO3, a very different type of gameplay. What was you and the team's approach to today's match versus the lead up in that qualification process?
I mean, it was just like playing off of each other, listening to Turler. Great, amazing IGL. Figuring out how the opponents is playing and just taking it step by step. And trades are huge, and there's just so much synergy within the team itself that we just played off each other really well.
Yeah, whether it was on the first map when you were roaming on Bandit getting some big picks, or on the second map when you were playing the verticality on the attack side, it seemed like you were constantly finding impact throughout. It didn't look like, to me at least, it phased you at all coming and playing here. Do you feel like that team environment that you guys built up just made you instantly confident going in?
Oh, absolutely. Like, my teammates are amazing. They are very good at just calming and figuring out like where we can get those picks without being punished ourselves. And it was very amazing vibes. Just I really appreciate my teammates and the IGLs and the shot calls that they all made. So
that's amazing. How much of that was just on the fly, loading into the server and figuring out as you went? Did you guys have much time to prepare, or was it mostly just figuring it out as you went along? Because it looked so smooth today.
We didn't scrim at all. We didn't. I don't think any of us played ranked, unranked. Didn't do. I mean, so like
not even playing ranked. You just loaded up today, played in the server, and dominated.
Nope. yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're just amazing players. You know, they know what they're doing, and it's just really nice to be comfortable in that environment. I was vibing. I mean, I hope the rest of my team was. I was just having fun throughout the server. So. Yeah.
That's amazing. It really looked like it as well. Who were the players that you felt like were stepping up, or were making those right calls that you would help credit that win to today?
Everybody. Like, the team as a whole, it's just so... It just flowed. We just flowed off of comms. We just flowed off of each other. There was no, like, oh gosh, like, what is this person doing? It was just very much like, all right, we got this, round by round, even if we were down round or we lost a round or down a player, it was just very like, no, we got this. It's okay. Like, yeah, it was very nice.
Very much showed. And now that synergy, that success, it's brought you the win today. It's also brought your team the lion's share of that $7,500. $5,000 will go to you. That means $1,000 to player. Any plans? Anything you want to do with that money you've earned?
Get a car.
Get a car?
Get a car. Yeah. And then the rest of my team, just splurge on themselves. They deserve it. That was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better finale, honestly. It was just so much fun, and so much respect to the enemy, the opponents. Like, I came in very nervous. Like, they were all great players, no like, yeah, this is going to be easy. It was great. It was great. Great games, great people, great everything. This whole experience has been amazing, and I'm just very appreciative of it all.
I'm so happy to hear that. To pull wide for a second, can you talk a little bit, not just about the experience of playing today, but the lead up to that and playing those weekly games and kind of grinding to qualify to today's match?
Man, it's just fun. It's a great thing to know that, Ubisoft does care about the women's scene. And a shout out to everybody in the Radiant staff. They were amazing. They really tried to listen to the players and fix anything that was needed. And just the games itself, meeting new people, meeting women's competitive women, meeting that, it was very nice. It was very fun. It was really nice. And the grind, I mean, the grind is crazy too. Like, that's like what, like 2 months of that, 2-3 months. It was,
yeah, you played 9 whole weeks to get here.
Yeah. So it was like, gosh, yeah, it was fun. I just appreciate the whole thing.
That's amazing. Well, I'm really happy for you that grind paid off. You and your teammates played amazingly today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
You as well. Well, very good to hear from Scouts, one of our winners with the Powerpuff Girls. Fluke, I love her energy throughout that. Just so exuberant to have even just gotten the opportunity to play.
She needs a car. Nothing was gonna stop her getting that car payment. Go respect that. But yeah, entirely right. Like, they just had a passion for the game. The whole team, they were there to play. They were having so much fun whilst playing. It showed in how they played. It showed in how confident they were. It showed in every aspect they wanted to throw themselves in, and everything she said, you're like, yeah, you showed it.
Exactly. I mean, on top of that, she said it, they had a ton of fun, and I think that was really well to see. So many kills, playing let loose. I mean, they were a little bit nervous at the beginning, and this is still nice to see. You have respect for the opponents, but you also have fun at the game. And at the end of the day, when you have fun, when you have the confidence, and everybody knows it in pro play, let it be tier 1, tier 2, tier 4, whatever league you play, the second you have fun, the second you have confidence, you do perform better.
Yeah, it's super cool to see that and hear from them as we wrap up today for the Rally Point Finals. I just going to get last thoughts from you both, starting with you, Fluke, on the tournament as a whole.
Every single person who got involved, thank you so much, first of all, and Ubisoft and everyone in Radiant GG for putting this together. But also, this is the start, and I'm so excited to see where it grows from this, because as we said, getting the basis on this is sort of a trailblazer moment. It's been amazing to be involved, and I am so excited to see how much bigger and better it's going to get across the board, because today was such a great start to everything.
I can honestly just agree. I hope this is the beginning of many, many more. We used to have past female competitive leagues. A big reason why, for example, I stopped playing competitive is because I didn't know any other females, right? Eventually you do feel alone all around these boys, and it's just like, I'm happy to see they're back. I'm happy to see that the females enjoy it. And stay here with me with this comment. Today, I didn't see female Siege. I saw Siege. I saw gameplays, and I could not differentiate if it was a man or a woman playing. And this is what I love. And the fact, knowing it was another female, just makes me so much more proud. And also, I hope this continues, because I want to see more female players in Siege, and I want the competitive to rise with it.
Well, that wraps things up. Thank you both so much for joining me, and for everyone behind the scenes who looked to make this happen, be that on the UB side or at the production crew here as well. To all of the players who came out week after week and put their time in to compete, to qualify towards this finals, and of course, to our 10 players that played today, and to the Powerpuff Girls, who once again are your Rally Point Finals champions. That's all for us here. If you want more Siege coming up next, there's still league finals to be had over this next week or so. And hopefully something more from Rally Point in the future. We thank you all so much for watching. For Fluke, Dianic, and myself, we thank you so much. Have a good night.